clock.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is What Made the Cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Halliburton has it. A three from the left edge, right through the middle.
Couldn't come at a better time there. Pacers defense is solid. Got to heat up here a little bit.
Rebound punched outside. Shepard fires from the top.
Good.
He hit it, and that's going to count. He hit a three as time expired. The lead is 30. It squirts to the top. Shepard rifles it ahead, and Siakam got it to Matherin down the middle for a two-hand slam.
It's the activity on the defensive end there. After a live ball turnover, everyone floods the paint, and they force a turnover.
Well, you can hardly ask for a better performance, particularly given the fact that if you didn't play well, your season would have ended.
MJB, this team, just in case you didn't know, NBA Finals, Game 7, and they still have an opportunity to win a championship. How cool is that?
Call Trajan Wealth today, your local financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. They bring you this segment, and what a night for the NBA, because we're going to get a Game 7.
Oh, yeah.
The Indiana Pacers, whose backs were against the wall, whatever cliche you want to use about facing elimination for the first time in this NBA postseason. And what did they do? Boy, they delivered, and they delivered big time in a Game 6 in front of their home fans against a really good Oklahoma City Thunder team. 108-91, they win Game 6. This series is tied at 3 games apiece. We're going to get a Game 7 on Sunday in Oklahoma City. Perfect ending to what's been a great playoff season, in my opinion. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know what the TV ratings are going to reflect. Don't really care.
Don't really care, yeah.
I, as a basketball fan, I've really enjoyed this whole postseason. Seeing 2 new teams in a finals is exciting. This is going to be the 7th straight year we've had a different champion. I believe that's the first time in NBA history that has happened. That's exciting because we're entering an era in NBA basketball, Sly, where anybody can win it. Not quite everybody, but you get what I mean, is you can build a championship roster in multiple ways. The Pacers, they never got a number 1 overall pick. They don't have a superstar on their roster. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they're a young team led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. They got a lot of young players on their team, an up-and-coming team that decided we're not going to wait. This is our year. It's going to come down to one game. One of these teams, the Pacers, could win their first NBA championship ever. The Thunder could win their first NBA championship for the first time since moving to Oklahoma City after they were the Seattle Supersonics, and we're not going to give the Oklahoma City any credit for the Sonics championship back in 1979. So just your thoughts on watching that game last night, Sly. I'll start with your thoughts. The Pacers, their backs are against the wall. It felt like the Thunder had taken total control after Game 5, and it was going to be an OKC party. And instead, the Pacers, with an injured Tyrese Halliburton playing, gutting it out, whatever you want to call it, going out there and forcing a Game 7. It was really impressive to me what the Pacers did, and it's got me like I thought the Thunder will win this in 7 games at home. The Pacers are giving me second thoughts here.
Right. No, I absolutely love the game. Because like basketball, football, different sports, there's inflection points in the game that people tell you to pay attention to, right? Like the start of the third quarter is a big one, right? How you start the third quarter because and how you end the second quarter. How you end the second quarter, how you begin the third quarter. That'll tell you pretty much who's going to win that basketball game. Is huge. You got to start on the right foot because when you go into halftime, it kind of takes the air out of you, whatever energy you had. There's a big momentum let off right there, so you have to start. And that second and third quarter for the Indiana Pacers, especially that third quarter, were just lights out. Lights out. And one thing you said, too, these are 2 new teams in the final that are worthy of being in this. right?
They've proven it.
You can't say that, they looked into it because of injuries to XYZ, this person, that person. They looked at that is not the case for either one of these teams. The Thunder did their thing the entire season to be able to get home court advantage throughout the playoffs. They've beaten everybody they need to beat. Getting into that crazy series against the Nuggets was absolutely awesome. Just getting to this point, the Thunder were destined to be there. Everybody talked about them being a favorite. Then the Indiana Pacers starting the season, it was terrible.
They weren't good early on.
No, they had a lot of injuries, but literally since January, they've been the best team in the league. And it's been crazy. And the way that they took off in these playoffs is that's why you play the game, and you can't crown anybody before they actually crown. And that's why, look, you going at this Game 7, Indiana has won in Oklahoma City. Indiana has won these high-pressure games time in and time out. I don't know what's crazier, Oklahoma City or Madison Square Garden, right? And Indiana has gone into Madison Square Garden first game when everything's on the line with the rowdy New York Knicks fans and handle business. So that's why you can't say it's Game 7, the home crowd is going to be something. Indiana don't care. You know how we used to say Honey Badger don't care? Tyrese Halliburton don't care.
There's some honey badgers on that Pacers roster.
Oh, man, and it's awesome. Young stars, as you said, there's no global A-plus guy on these, right? Yes, you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in this matchup, but when you look at the Indiana Pacers, yes, you got Pascal Siakam, you got Obi Toppin, guys that have been, contributors on many, many different rosters, but, the way that they're able to play together makes you appreciate team sports. Right, and I think Indiana's length is just something that you just can't plan for. Long athletic wings that can move. Right, the way Halliburton can get into the passing lanes on defense. Normally, you got a point guard like him. You're like, he's a liability on defense. You can go out. You can't go at that guy. He stole a couple passes last night, and I'm just like, how did he even get there? Because I know the person who passed it, there's no way this guy's going to get there. And he did it. It's just like a safety. You have no idea how the safety's going to get into that passing lane. But, and that's what it is. And everybody said that's why the Thunder got to the finals, is because of good defense. And that's what the Indiana Pacers, I think they hung their hats on last night. Hats off to T.J. McConnell. He's been year in and year out.
How great has he been?
Wow. Right.
I don't think he's earned a lot of respect in the league for some reason.
I don't know.
This postseason has been able to show everybody how good he is, how hard he plays, and the value that he has in this league, and specifically for the Indiana Pacers. He's really impressed me. He's been a great story.
That's why I say you got to appreciate team sports.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Every position is needed, whether you're a sixth man, you're the 2 guy, you're the number 3 scorer, you're the number 2 scorer, you're just a rebounder guy. Dennis Rodman got no glory. For points. But everybody knew how effective he was.
If Dennis Rodman wasn't the character he was off the court and the antics he did on the court, he would have been one of the most underappreciated NBA players of all time.
All time. He got. I think people started to pay attention to him because I think Jordan and Pippen would express his value, right? They say Rodman, he's a character. He'll fly to Vegas and then come back the night before and still give you 25 rebounds. But what he does for us, it's what allows us to win championships, right? And so agreed, his personality and what he did, maybe 2 points a game, right? If that.
You didn't even think about it offensively. You just saw him dominate the boards and what it did for the team he was playing for. Yeah.
Right? T.J. McConnell the same way. He gets in there. He will affect a lot of things. He's been top 5, top 3 in steals for the last, 6-7 years in the league? T.J. McConnell gets it done, and that's one thing that you can always hang your hat on is if you can play defense, you're always going to be a factor in a basketball game.
T.J. McConnell, 12 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals off the bench, shot 50% from the field. Crazy. The Pacers were plus 10 with him on the court. And, of course, the lead got up to 30 at one point.
31. Yeah.
The Pacers just absolutely dominated this game. And there's a couple things that I'll point to for that. Number one, just the lift of spirits it must have been for Tyrese Halliburton to give it a go.
It's the finals, baby. There was no question.
It is, Sly, but let me point this out because I think that a lot of players might have had pause here. He had a calf strain. What's the first thing you think of if you have a calf strain?
Can't run.
Achilles injury.
Not necessarily. Not for me, anyway.
Not for you.
Yeah.
If you're an NBA basketball player, let me give you reasons. 2019 NBA Finals, Kevin Durant had a calf strain. Pushed it, gave it a go. What happened?
Towards the
Pop.
Achilles. Yeah.
Okay, Damian Lillard, calf strain, was out for a while. Gave it a go in the playoffs. What happened? Pop. Achilles. Jason Tatum, Celtics against the Knicks. Also was having some kind of calf strain issue. Gave it a go. Pop. What did Tyrese Halliburton do last night? What was his injury? Calf strain. Gave it a go. Rolled the dice. I'm telling you, there's history in the league. You got a calf strain, you better be careful. I think in the NFL, too, you saw Christian McCaffrey out for a long time with a calf strain. I get it. I don't judge him. Because if he gets Achilles, you lose a lot of money and you lose a whole year of your NFL career. Of course you're going to nurse that calf strain.
A whole year. Yeah, that's crazy.
So Tyrese Halliburton had a lot on the line last night in front of his home crowd. He took a lot of risk going last night. And in Game 5, he wasn't good. He was clearly hampered by whatever was bothering him. Game 6, look, he didn't score 30 points. He only had 14. And he just had 1 rebound. But he did have 5 assists, and he did have 2 steals, just 1 turnover. His presence matters. And he made enough key plays early in that game to help them build that lead. He didn't have to have 30 points. He never really does. He just does so many things for that team that allows them to be so efficient. And it's so much fun watching that group play together.
Oh, for sure.
There was that one play where Halliburton gets the steal. He comes down the court, and he throws that no-look pass to Pascal Siakam. And Siakam puts Jalen Williams on a poster.
Ooh.
If you're an Indiana Pacers fan, you're going to watch that play.
It better be on your wall.
50 times every day for the next 50 years, and it's going to be on your wall in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
No matter what happens in Game 7. Because that was one of the awesomest plays in Indiana Pacers history. Trust me. I'm not an Indiana Pacers historian, but you have that kind of a play in the NBA Finals when your franchise has only been there twice?
Right.
You're going to remember it.
Right.
Okay, so that was special. Pascal Siakam, 16 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists. Nothing that makes you go, wow. Obi Toppin, 20 points off the bench. Andrew Nembhard, who had a lot of key turnovers in that Game 5 that cost them their rally, comes back, bounced back nicely, 17 points, 3 steals. They got after him defensively. They were the more physical team, and they took care of the basketball.
Yeah.
10 turnovers for the Pacers after 20 in Game 5. I look at the other side, 21 turnovers for the Thunder. Jalen Williams had 40 points in Game 5. He was minus 40 on the floor in Game 6. What a dramatic turn of events from Game 5 to Game 6. Obviously, 1 in Oklahoma City, 1 in Indiana. The Pacers got it done. They've got new life. And you're going to have a winner-take-all Game 7. And it's really fascinating to look at the history because we don't get Game 7 in the NBA Finals very often. In fact, it's only happened 8 times in the last 50 years. 1978, the Bullets beat the Sonics 4-3. 1984, the Celtics beat the Lakers 4-3. 1988, the Lakers beat the Pistons 4-3. 94, Rockets beat the Knicks 4-3. 2005, the Spurs beat the Pistons 4-3. 2010, the Lakers defeated the Boston Celtics. I remember watching that Game 7, and everybody in that series was dog tired. Even Kobe was just. I was like,
score like in the 70s or 80s?
It was awful.
Yeah,
it was an awful Game 7.
No legs.
I just remember how exhausted both of those teams were because they gave it everything they had in that series. 2013, the Heat defeat the Spurs. Remember that? I believe that was the year that Ray Allen hit that shot. They got Game 6 and they survived and went on. Unbelievable series that was. And then, of course, LeBron brings a championship to Cleveland in 2016, that great block at the end of the game. They knock off the 73-9 Warriors in a big upset in that series. So we don't get this very often.
No.
So my point is, enjoy this on Sunday. It may not be a great basketball game. I have no idea. The Thunder might do to the Pacers what they did to the Nuggets in Game 7 in the semifinals in the Western Conference. I have a feeling, though, that's not going to be the case. You got some days off here, Sly. I think that is key. You've got today. You got tomorrow. You have a chance to get fresh before Sunday. And hopefully these two teams cap off what's been a great series and a great postseason with a Game 7 to remember. And we need to enjoy Game 7 because we do not get these very often, first time in 9 years. So it's been great to see a series like this with some new teams. I get it. It's not Jordan versus Charles Barkley. I get it. It's not going to get the same ratings. That's not really what matters. What matters here is you're going to see a Game 7 between two hungry basketball teams that should put on a great show on Sunday. And if you like basketball, you should really, really enjoy this moment. All right, we have to take a break. When we come back, some interesting things going on in the world of college football. Wisconsin suing Miami for poaching? Oh, Sly's got some thoughts on this.
Oh,
this new world we live in is pretty wild.
I'm here for it.
You know who's winning? The lawyers. That's who's winning.
Oh, God, that's what I was going to say.
We'll talk about that next.
What a great time to be a part of the legal system.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This is when you should have got that degree in law. This is where it really pays off.
It's just easy right now. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Cake work. You just take on a case and you just get money. You don't even have to go all the way to trial. It's like, hey, you want me to even look at your files? $300 an hour. $400. Sorry.
Nobody loves what's going on in college football more right now than attorneys.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We'll dig into that next, right here on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Joined now by Brandon Huffman, national recruiting editor for 24/7 Sports. Ryder Lyons, a 5-star quarterback. What do you think of Ryder, and what do you think the odds are he ends up in Provo?
I've said for 2 years that I think he's the best quarterback in the country. I know he's a top 5 quarterback nationally. He's the number 1 player in California. For my money, I will take him as the best quarterback. And this is big. I have maintained for a while it was a BYU-Oregon battle, and I have said do not discount BYU's efforts with him. And now they get their shot. They get the last visit. This could end up being the single most significant recruit Kalani Sitake has ever gotten in his 10 years at BYU. So all eyes are on Provo, not just with BYU fans, but I would say college football fans in general are tracking this one.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
5 guys walk into a JCW's and order burgers, a pastrami, a mushroom Swiss, a guacamole bacon, a hickory barbecue, a ribeye steak, 2 onion rings, 3 French fries, a strawberry, mint, peanut butter, chocolate, and marshmallow shake, and not one left to tip. Because at JCW's, we don't ask for it. We think the price you see should be the price you pay. And all that, would you like to leave a tip stuff, is for the birds. JCW's. Quality and a lot of it. Open in Lehigh, Provo, Harriman, South Jordan, and American Fork.
So you're a Forester.
Yep.
Seemed like a good car. Describe your dream job.
Work stinks, but I love commuting.
Lease a new 2025 Subaru Forester at Doug Smith Subaru for only $298 per month. MSRP $31,850. 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year. $3,199 due at signing. No security deposit required. JF2 SLDA C8 SH5 30755 OAC valid through June 30th, 2025. No one knows Subaru like Doug.
In a game, getting hit just means hitting restart. On the road, not so much. That's why visibility matters. Pedestrians, make eye contact and use your phone flashlight in crosswalks. Cyclists, turn on your front and rear lights and keep your head on a swivel. In reality, you only get one life. Be seen, be safe. Brought to you by the Utah Department of Public Safety.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword micro. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Show some love to youth sports volunteers with the Hercules Hero of the Week. Let's praise your favorite youth coach, ref, or maybe the parent that pulls the team together. Your nomination could score them a $100 Visa gift card from Hercules First Federal Credit Union and a $200 gift card from Beehive Meals. Listen to see if they win Thursday afternoons with JJ and Alex. The Hercules Hero of the Week with Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals, helping you take the busy work at a family dinner. Get rules, info, and nominate your hero at kslsports.com/contests. At Larry H. Miller Toyota Murray, you're not just a guest, you're part of the family. When you're part of the family, buying or servicing your vehicle is easy. Visit LarryHMillerToyota.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the biggest name. You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Do you have a product that you're passionate about and would like to have it endorsed by this show? It's simple. All you have to do is text JJ to 57500. That's 57500. Text JJ to 57500, and our sales staff will take care of the rest. Again, text JJ to 57500. We've been able to help a lot of clients in the 2 years we've been doing this show, and it's been a lot of fun to see them get results from being on the show. Nothing makes us happier than to help businesses here in Utah find new clients, find new revenue. You can find those revenue paths on the show through reaching this audience. We have a lot of loyal listeners, and they buy products. They got to buy cars. They got to do this, and they got to do that. So we can help you. We can help you reach all those people. Again, text JJ to 57500 to become a part of the show. All right, Sly. College football. And I know you've got a lot of takes on the current state of college football. As a former college football player, comparing the way things were when you played to the way things have become. It's a new world we live in. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of topics we could discuss relating to college football, but there was an interesting thing that's happened very recently. In fact, a report that came out today. And Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports, who does a great job covering college football, reports that in a landmark moment in college athletics, a university has filed suit against another for poaching. Poaching a college football player under contract. So the University of Wisconsin and its NIL collective filed a complaint in State Circuit Court on Friday against the University of Miami over alleged interference, according to documents obtained by Yahoo Sports. So this is a first that we haven't seen. So Wisconsin is seeking unspecified financial damages and a declaratory judgment deeming UM's actions as wrongful for interfering with a binding revenue share contract between Wisconsin and Xavier Lucas, a former defensive back who left the program in January to compete at Miami. So it was a groundbreaking decision, Dellinger writes, in which Lucas transferred without entering the portal. Wow. It was already closed. He just transferred.
People are going to do dumb stuff all the time. Like, there's a lot of people who's been victims of tampering, but of course the process is, and I think, people's managers or people just make sure to enter the portal first, wait a couple days. Yeah. It's a locked deal. You don't have to talk. You don't have to take any calls or anything. We are already
you have
good.
a do not contact button you can hit on the portal.
But there's a process we have to go through, right?
Yeah.
And so this is I've been waiting. I mean, even still, there's going to be so much more to come out here in the next few years. As I said, I am salivating at the 30 for 30s that's going to come out about this whole NIL process, right? The players that got taken advantage of, the players that enter the portal never getting picked up again, losing their scholarships, not being able to even finish an academic scholarship, just left with nothing. Just the decisions, right? You're a grown man. You're not out of the house. You're out of the house anymore. You're not in high school anymore. It's your responsibility. Decisions you make are all on you. And are these guys making the right decisions at the end of the day? Yeah, money is flying around, and how many guys are going to go broke? If there's been NBA, NFL guys who's made 60, 70 plus, $100+ million and are now flat broke, imagine these 17, 18-year-old kids who are getting all this junk of money and they're broke by the time they're 23, 24 years old. Like, it's just going to be crazy. So the people that are winning, we said lawyers.
Yes.
Right?
And here's another win.
But also businesses, right? I got a shoe company. I got a boat company. They tell a kid to come to the University of Miami, you need a boat. You got $300,000. It's fine. Just buy this boat. These companies are living right now. And so that's honestly my first thought was like, how can I do this to where I could buy a jewelry company, a shirt company, a something company that these kids will want to buy, a car company, get all these outlandish dealers. I bet the Maserati dealership over here is just freaking living. Even a Maserati dealership in Utah, I don't know how they're still in business, but I mean, because I don't see them like that. But hey, you got so many guys out here now that can do all that stuff. And so, like, I think businesses like that are winning. Lawyers are just having a field day with all of this. But again, what I said from the beginning was wait until the business of all of this kicks in, right? Now, we just talked about it kind of off air about donors' ROI with everything. This is a part of it. I'm putting money in for said player, and now that player leaves for something else. Where's my money? Where's that all going?
Breach of contract. Of course you're going to sue, right?
Sue.
Yeah.
Get your money back or put your money to make sure my money is being worked at. And here's one thing. These kids don't care about that. They don't think about that either. They're just like, hey, whoever's got more money, come get me. Right. And so, yeah, now this is going against the University of Miami. But sooner or later, it's going to be the players who are going to have to succumb to all of these judgments. And so, and then at that point, how do you know how to go about business like that, man? And so there's just greed between professionals that's been taken advantage of, between managers and agents and all of these. These young kids are just going to be subjected to all of that here in the next few years as well. I'm not trying to wish that. I'm just saying that is what's going to happen. It's just undeniable.
Wisconsin claims that Miami communicated with Lucas, knowingly inducing him despite knowing he had entered a contract with the school, something it terms as intentional interference that was not justified or privileged and caused Lucas to breach his contract. The Big Ten Conference is supporting the suit against Miami.
Of course.
Now, we're not lawyers. We're not going to sit here and talk about legal stuff. I can't answer any and all of that. My opinions on that are pretty limited.
I've watched enough movies.
Okay.
I've watched
Feel free to share yours,
I've watched
Sly.
Lincoln Lawyer, get out of some stuff.
There you go. The thing that interests me about this is, and we're all wondering what the future is now that the House settlement is done. Okay. So schools can now pay these players. Are these players are they going to be asked to enter into contracts?
They should. They should have been asked to enter contracts a long time ago. They started this whole thing about
contracts must be enforced.
Yeah, they have to be.
Who's enforcing them?
That is the biggest question. And now you're talking about the university side, but you got to talk about their third-party side too, right? The third-party contracts outside of the university paying these guys. What are those contracts? Are contracts being fulfilled? I know personally of so many stories where guys weren't fulfilling their contracts. You're getting cars, you're getting all this and that, and they're not doing their side of the deal. And that's the bad part about giving stuff up front. I'm giving you this cash up front. I need this in return. You're not getting that in return. That's because these guys are so young. They don't understand business, and they're not being mentored the right way because, one, they're not spending enough time with universities for these universities to even care to give them that type of mentorship, right? They're just bouncing. They're not showing no love to me. Go ahead and make the decisions.
It's pretty tough to establish those relationships in 3 to 6 months.
Yeah. You're only here for 4 months.
Yeah.
I barely know your name, and you're already entered the transfer portal? You're crying to your mom, I got to talk to agents and managers before even talking to you? That's what college is doing.
That's rough.
It's insane.
Yeah.
So why can somebody, how or why would, and you know what? People are going to start trying to blame the universities. No, blame these kids. They're grown people. I keep saying kids, blame these grown men who are making these decisions.
I guess you could make the argument if you want to be paid like an adult, you better act like an adult.
You better act like it. And that's the professionalism that I didn't think was established with communicating with these guys. There's a sort of professionalism when you do get paid, right? Shedeur Sanders is going through it right now with Cleveland and making sure that you're not speeding and yada, yada, yada. There's a professionalism and a maturation with your professionalism. The bad part is with it, these kids are going to have to mature a lot earlier than people are normally asking them to.
Yeah.
You're getting millions of dollars at 19 years old. It used to be like 1 or 2 people, was it? Like Justin Bieber was probably like the only person who would get money like that at this age.
We have an example, Sly, of NBA rookies that are 18, 19 years old getting massive contracts.
And doing nothing
There's
with it.
a lot of sad
having
stories.
Terrible careers.
As you remember, before they did the one and done thing, you were looking at last generation of like Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and then
Dwight
all the way
Howard,
through
yeah.
LeBron, Dwight Howard, that era. Those guys could come straight out of high school and go get the money, and those guys succeeded.
One-offs.
Those guys succeeded, but there's plenty of tales of guys that
didn't,
and where's their money? What are they doing now? It's not good. There's plenty of those stories out there. Go Google them.
I saw them at McDonald's on the way over.
We haven't gotten into your McDonald's trip yet. Either. We'll save that for later. You saw what over McDonald's?
I saw these guys working at McDonald's on the way over here.
You think they used to be former NBA players?
No, I'm just playing. I'm just like, there's just not much.
But
to
what
come
are those
with that.
guys doing if they spoil? If they don't learn how to manage all this? If it's too much too early, or if there's not there's no guardrails, is what I'm saying. As I'm getting at, if you have guardrails and there's protection here, a lot of these kids have great parents. They got good support systems, like you're saying. Maybe they have too good of support systems. They got agents involved. They're acting like they've earned something or done something that they actually haven't. Maybe that's the bigger problem here, is the sense of entitlement with this generation as opposed to the previous one.
I think there's a certain mentality that you have to be an A guy anyway.
Sure.
Right? And that's why I'm saying, like,
to get to this point, you have to be special.
Right. But like, as the threshold shrinks as you go up to another level. From high school, it shrinks down to college, and then it shrinks down to the pros, right? High school, you're the man everywhere. In Texas, I'm the man, right? And yada, yada, yada. But in college, a little bit less.
Everybody's good at college.
Right? And so, like, I just don't think that in order to be the man, you gotta invest. You gotta invest all your time, all your energy, which means you're not doing anything else. So my problem is like these guys who are 18, 19 years old getting all this money, they're not learning other skills.
Mm-hmm.
So when they are ass out on the street, what do they know? Right? What are their parents telling them to do? You gotta go get a job. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
I don't know how to fill out a resume. I don't even know how to write a check. I don't know how to balance a checkbook. I don't know how to fill out I don't know how to act in an interview. I never had an interview. I just had to play ball and look at my high school huddle tape. That was my interview process.
Yeah.
How do I sit down? How do I dress? Do I wear white socks in my interview? Do I button my tie?
Don't wear white socks. If you're listening.
Don't. You get kicked out the club. This is what I'm saying. It's just like, yes, they're getting money, but they also don't know how to do anything else. So when they do age out or whatever, what do they know at that point? They have money in the bank account, but if they just keep spending, because I'm telling you, it is gonna run out. And when it runs out, you think you got time. Next thing you know, it's 2 years, 3 years down the road, and you've done nothing. Because you think you're above, the entitlement mindset still is in play. of doing anything else. You think you should be just given it all. I should be just given my education. I should be just given this job. Do you not know my name? I should just be given this. And I think that right there is a mentality that this whole NIL process is teaching these kids that's going to leave them terrible. And my 30 for 30s that I'm going to sit back into my theater and watch are going to take up my entire weekend.
This is also going to have ramifications for the future of college football because now that the House settlement is done, this is the next step. Okay, these schools are giving out money, and these NIL collectives are giving out money. It's time now to sign contracts.
Yeah.
Now, do the players need to collectively bargain for certain things? That's also something that's going to have to be figured out. But the bottom line we're learning from this is once the schools are paying out money, they have expectations. The poor NIL people that were shelling out some money, they probably weren't able to hold these kids as accountable as they want to.
They weren't.
The schools, it'll be a little bit different.
And that's the best part about all this because I was just like, all right, yeah, they're able to play players, but they still have third-party deals. Okay, whatever. But it does give the university the ability to control the roster better because you'd have to lean on the donors like, hey, we need this guy and this and that. So like, no, we're paying this guy. That's this. He's on the roster. He gets paid this. That's it. That's whatever. Like, of course, you're still going to have your Alabamas, your Texas Techs, all these guys with more money that can pay these guys in the third-party deals where you're just like, I need this 5-star guy for sure, make that happen. But ultimately, now these other universities are more in control of, yeah, you want all that money, so what? I don't care. I don't care about you want $5 or $6 million, whatever. I need this for my roster. If you're trying to play, and these contracts that have to come out, you're going to have, I'm telling you, incentivizing, you're going to have to play to be able to get this money. If you're not playing, you can't get this money. And that's where these third parties and universities can work together on. Like, okay, this is going to be in the rears. You're going to be in the rears. And if you don't play, then you don't get this money. What did we talk about in our earlier offseason where this guy, he was a freshman last year, didn't really play that much, had about 400 yards receiving, but he had all these demands entering the portal. Talking about, like, I want black SUVs for my whole family. They get to go to all the games on a private jet, yada, yada, yada.
Wow. You
can't do all of that. Now I think this gives the universities a little more power as far as the roster's concerned, but it's a crapshoot anywhere you look at it.
Pay attention to this lawsuit because the decision that's made could impact the future of how this works with contracts, paying players, etc. Because if Wisconsin wins this suit and contract was valid and they were in violation of that contract, then a lot of the schools are going to demand that these kids sign the contracts. If they lose this suit and these contracts can't be enforced, we're going to have another round of the wild, wild west in college football. Because they're not going to have any accountability for these kids doing whatever the heck they want. And it's going to be poaching season, folks.
Keanu Tunavasa, you don't need to jump to the portal. Just come to BYU. You already know, right? You don't need to say that you jumped in the portal for all that. Like, it's already known.
So this is a big, big deal for college football. Keep a close eye on that situation. All right, we got to take another break. We might get into Sly's McDonald's trip when we get back. Or not, we'll see. But we do have Would You Rather coming up next, right here on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
There's problem solvers. I'm not one of them. I'm a problem creator.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right. I call it challenging groupthink, but really I'm an instigator.
See, I'm more of a problem pointer-outer.
Doing it wrong.
Exactly. Which I'd probably rather be than a problem creator.
Sure, it's better.
But easier than problem solving.
Neither help.
No, nothing.
Neither fix anything.
No. I mean, my living is to pop on the microphone and say, hey, that team really stunk out there. Well, how did they make it better? I don't know.
Not my problem.
Don't you get paid to figure that out? Boy, that team stinks. Why do they stink? Well, I could give you a number of different reasons.
How do you fix it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's your problem.
Not up to me.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
I love this job.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Helping your money do more means putting yourself in the financial driver's seat.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no better or more literal way to do that than with a low-rate auto loan from America First Credit Union. Plus, for a limited time, when you finance your new vehicle with America First, you'll enjoy no payments for 90 days. And that means getting more mileage out of every cent you spend. So make your money move. Head to americafirst.com to apply for pre-approval of your low-rate auto loan today. Eligibility, terms, conditions, and creditworthiness apply. Subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
At Black Desert Resort, you can truly indulge in luxury your way. Whether you choose a sleek studio or an expansive 4-bedroom suite, you're just moments away from teeing off on a championship golf course, savoring top-tier dining, relaxing poolside, or exploring the rugged beauty of southern Utah. Whatever thrill you seek, it's right outside your door. Your journey awaits at blackdesertresort.com. Get lost and find luxury.
Protein, protein, protein. Everyone is trying to get protein in their diet, but we need fats too. Healthy fat, that is, like the rich, natural peanut and almond butters found in G2G protein bars. Most bars don't have it because, well, most bars aren't real food or refrigerated. Fortunately for you, we aren't most bars. At G2G, you'll find a balanced helping of protein and healthy fat. The fact that they're delicious is just a bonus. They're fast, easy, and perfect for on-the-go families. G2G protein bars. Find them at Costco, Harmon's, Maverick, and now at Smith's.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600. 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Sink your teeth into more action, more tricks, more entertainment, and incredible value at the Ute Stampede Rodeo with Extreme Bulls. July 9th through 12th, the Ute Stampede is Utah's best family entertainment, honoring the rich heritage and spirit of the West with 3 nights of PRCA Rodeo, Flying U Rodeo, live music, food, carnivals, games, and plenty of showmanship. The best in the West with Extreme Bulls. Get your tickets now at UtestampedeRodeo.com.
Are you ready for the ultimate baseball experience? Introducing the Cage Baseball, Utah's first high-tech, entertainment-based batting cage. Just the fun parts of baseball. Whether you're a rookie or all-star baseball player, everyone can experience the thrill of hitting a home run. Swing away with friends, families, co-workers, maybe even a date night. The Cage Baseball, just off Redwood Road around the corner from the Maverick Center. Use code THEZONE for 10% off your 1-hour session. Step up to the plate at the Cage Baseball.
This summer, when you have Any Hour Services give you an estimate to replace your air conditioner or you purchase a new AC from Any Hour, you'll automatically be entered into our weekly drawing to have your air conditioner paid for by Any Hour Services. No purchase is necessary. See official rules at anyhour.com.
Listen every Monday morning to DJ and PK and Monday afternoon with JJ and Alex for your Chevy Strong Play of the Game. Win great prizes from Rocky Mountain Chevy.
Listen, everybody! Real-life hypotheticals to get your brain churning. As JJ and Alex ask, would you rather?
Win big every Wednesday on the KSL Sports Zone with Win Ticket Wednesday. This Wednesday, win tickets to the Summer Unity Tour featuring Collective Soul and live with special guest Our Lady Peace. July 13th at the Utah First Credit Union Amphitheater. Get tickets now at livenation.com or listen to the KSL Sports Zone all day Wednesday for your chance to win. If you missed 1994, you don't want to miss that concert. All right, it's time for a fun little thing we do every day on the show at this time called Would You Rather. Usually, Alex comes up with these, but since he's gone, I get my chance to try Would You Rather with Sly. Now, Sly, it is, yesterday was the first day of summer officially. Is that correct?
It was a hot one, so I bet.
Either way, I mean, clearly it's summer, all right? Can we agree that it's summertime? And it's time to go find something to do. Now, vacations. Most people will take a summer vacation. If you can afford it, good for you. The rest of us will sit here and bake in the hot Utah sun.
And work on our houses. Old man's crap.
There's always my yard. Always my yard. I got that. My own little paradise. We'll sit in the back of my yard and pretend I'm in Hawaii. Not really. But whether you are able to, and again, congratulations, good for you, or if you just want to dream of what you want to do, I thought it would be fun to do a little Would You Rather on summer vacation destinations with Stevenson Sylvester. Here we go. Sly, Key West or San Diego?
I'm a San Diego bias.
Really?
I love.
I know
San Diego.
you've had a good time in Miami.
I was actually going. I love Miami, but I love San Diego is actually one of the places that I was deciding on. Kind of setting my roots down.
Yeah.
San Diego, Vegas, or Salt Lake City. I chose Salt Lake, obviously.
You made the right choice.
But I love San Diego, man.
It is nice.
So
What's your
San
favorite
Diego.
part? What's your favorite thing about San Diego?
Man, besides the year-round weather, I just love the vibe down there.
Yeah.
And so I can just chill. I don't have to be at the beach. I'm not a beach guy anyway, but I don't have to go down to the beach. I just love the amenities and stuff that are around there. Just the vibe from store to store, bar to bar for me. Just place to place, just the low key. It gives you an inland/island vibe, I feel like, in San Diego. It's a good mix that's down there. I think the people, the weather and stuff affects the people, that their attitudes are better.
Yeah.
As far as other places in California or people are strung out, it feels like, San Diego is just, it's not that way at all. And so I love the vibe, the people, and just everything around there. So San Diego.
I'm a West Coast guy too, so I like that answer. Cancun or Cabo?
Ew, they're both the same to me. I'll go Cabo.
One's on the east side of Mexico and one's on the west.
You go downtown Cancun, downtown Cabo. I couldn't tell you where I was at. Now, that may be the worm, right? That may be the worm, Basti worm. But,
Sly's favorite beverage of choice.
Tequila.
I knew you'd like that one. Paris or Rome?
Ew. So I'm more of a historian guy. I've heard Paris is just... And if people are from Paris, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard Paris is dirty, plus they don't like Americans over there. So I'm more Rome because I want to see history, and my top 2 favorite movie of all time is Gladiator. So gotta go
to the Coliseum.
Gotta go there. So Rome.
Nice. Yellowstone or Zion?
Yellowstone.
I'm from Wyoming, so I agree with you. But
Okay.
I love Zion.
Zion's
Love Zion.
great.
The crowds at Zion are no bueno.
I actually, me and my wife's first dates, we did had to do a little showing down there at Zion. And so they put us up at the cabin, but we went on this little hike, and I went the wrong way, and next thing you know, we were 12 miles in the wrong direction.
That's quite a wrong direction.
I was the derelict leader, so I don't like Zion anymore. So
well, hopefully you didn't end up on the top of Angel's Landing.
No, we started there.
Which is
an
an incredible
on
hike.
the way back is where I got lost.
Okay. Bora Bora or Hawaii?
Oh, goodness. Bora Bora. Go Bora Bora.
I've been to neither, but I'd like to be able to make the decision. I have not.
What?
I've never
It's
been able to
very
figure that
touristy,
out.
so make sure you talk.
I know, and that's why Bora Bora seems really cool.
Talk to somebody before you go to Hawaii. Hawaii's great, but you got Honolulu.
Right.
Talk to somebody before you go.
Good advice. Caribbean cruise or Mediterranean cruise?
That is a good question. I've never been on either, but I've sent my family on a Caribbean cruise, and I've had friends that go to Mediterranean one. I love the Greek Isles. I just told you I wanted to go to Rome and all of that, so I'll take Mediterranean.
Nice. One more. London or Tokyo?
This is a good one because I want to go to both, but it just I would have to look at what's going on. If there's an MLS match in London, I'm going to London all day because just the street vibes, as I said, bar to bar, in London and Manchester and all of that stuff over there, I'd want to be a part of that. I want to see Big Ben. I want to do all of that.
So some good soccer would draw you to London.
Oh, yeah. But Tokyo, I would get kind of weird about how many people are around and how we have
There's a lot of people.
And that's just not comfortable for me. But that would be the only thing to kind of take me away from there. But I would say Tokyo.
I'm biased because I've been to Tokyo and I loved Tokyo.
You love
It's
Tokyo?
Awesome. So
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Just so much fun.
Futuristic, right?
Very massive city. Just really, people are nice and they don't bother you. It's clean. So many things to do.
Mhm.
It's spectacular. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. It's just an incredible city. So I really enjoyed my experience. That's not to say that London isn't. And I just haven't been.
Right.
So wherever you go on your summer vacation, big or small, we hope you enjoy it. At least you're getting out and going and doing something, right? So enjoy the summer, everybody. All right, we're not done with hockey. We got to wrap a bow on the season. We just had a Stanley Cup final winner. We've got free agency coming up for the Utah Mammoth. The draft is next week for the Utah Mammoth. A lot of things to discuss. Travis Yost of TSN, frequent guest on the show, will join us next right here on JJ and Alex 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Take the Zone with you wherever you go. Download the KSL Sports app to get live streaming of your favorite shows.
Downloading.
Download the latest podcasts and get all the latest breaking news on the teams you can't live without. Everything you need delivered right to your phone.
Let's go get them where we can get them.
Just search KSL Sports on your app store of choice. Download it now. The KSL Sports app, presented by University of Utah Health.
Hi, Zoe Saldana. Welcome to T-Mobile. Here's your new iPhone 16 Pro on us.
Thanks. And here's my old phone to trade in.
You don't need a trade-in. When you switch to T-Mobile, we'll give you a new iPhone 16 Pro. Plus, we'll help you pay off your old phone up to $800, and you still get to keep it.
There's always a trade-in.
Not right now at T-Mobile.
I feel like I have to give you something in return for karma.
That's okay.
I don't really have much in my purse. Oh, let's see. Hand sanitizer. It's lavender.
I'm good. Seriously.
Let me check this pocket. Oh, mints?
Really, I'm fine.
Oh, I have raisins. I'm a mom. Wait one sec. I've got cupcakes in the car.
It's our best iPhone offer ever. Switch to T-Mobile. Get a new iPhone 16 Pro with Apple Intelligence on us. No trade-in needed. We'll even pay off your phone up to $800.
With 24 monthly bill credits, new line $100 plus a month on experience beyond finance agreement $999.99 and qualifying ported. For well qualified plus tax and $10 connection charge. Payout via virtual prepaid card. Allow 15 days. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. See T-Mobile.com.
Hey Ryan, you remember that trip we took in our tent trailer down to Southern California?
Oh, that was the best.
Making memories with Paris RV. Hook up to the 2025 Forest River Rockwood 16 OTG for only $9,195 or $148 per month, zero down. Or the 2025 Highland Ridge Open Range 177 BH for only $14,995 or $171 per month, zero down. Or the 2026 Coachman RV Catalina Summit Series 7 134 BHX for only $14,995 or $171 per month, zero down.
Take your family out RVing with Paris RV.
Paris RV is your locally owned, family-run RV dealership. We strive hard to find the very best RVs for the price. With 4 locations, over 1,000 RVs in stock, 42 service bays, and 4 super parts stores. We're sure to help take your family on the best RV vacation. Check out our perfect family bunkhouse trailer, the 26BH. That sleeps 9 for $19,995 or $227 a month, zero down. Life is short. Enjoy it. North Murray, South Murray, Payson, and Pocatello. ParisRV.com.
Think road safety's a single-player game? Not so fast. Before driving through a crosswalk, put away distractions and watch out for pedestrians and cyclists. The best way to win? Share the road. Brought to you by the Utah Department of Public Safety.
Discover the exceptional taste of Bar W Beef, where quality meets flavor. Bar W Beef is dry aged for 14 days, ensuring rich marbling and tender texture. Whether you're grilling, roasting, or pan-searing, you'll find cuts perfect for any occasion. Experience the bold flavors and impressive sizes that are ideal for special gatherings. Order today and enjoy free shipping on purchases over $150. Elevate your meals with Bar W Beef. Order online at barwbeef.com or visit the store in Nephi.
Get a $15 prepaid MasterCard after rebate when you buy 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life.
Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2025 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
If your roof needs repair or replacement, do it now during SNS Roofing's huge spring sale. 12 months interest-free financing. Get the best value on the highest quality roofing job in Utah. Dial pound 250, then say SNS Roofing.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's. Drop in for one of our delicious gourmet burgers made with 100% choice Grand Chuck. We're in Lehigh, American Fork, Provo, South Jordan, and Harriman. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
Broadcasting from the Mountain Home Services Studio, this is 97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and 102.7 KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on the Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Got my theme song going. I see you, Alex. I was listening to this all week, by the way. As soon as I walk outside.
Lip syncing is not as great on the radio as it is on video.
No, it's not, but I'm telling you.
That was good, though.
This is me all week. All right.
If you're watching on the YouTube, you're enjoying this. Sly with some lip syncing to his favorite song. He's wearing sunglasses in the studio. It's not night, but he's wearing them.
These are prescription, by the way, guys.
Prescription sunglasses.
Oh, man. This is great.
This segment of JJ and Alex is brought to you by Doug Smith Dealerships. Dodge, Ram, Chevrolet, Subaru, Kia, and Linden, and now Mitsubishi and American Fork. Sly's got the sunglasses on. You know it's time to get serious. But we're going to have some fun as well. We're going to we're not done with the NHL. We're in NHL market now. We're NHL 24/7, 365. And that's why we're going to bring on Travis Yost, NHL writer for TSN, friend of the program. That's the cut here at 4 o'clock. Travis, what's up? How you doing?
How you doing, boys? Happy Friday.
Oh, happy Friday to you. A lot of happy people in Florida. The Panthers got it done. I know you're not surprised. None of us are surprised. What do you make of the Panthers' back-to-back Stanley Cups? Is it possible they could do this 3 in a row?
You can't write it off. It is very hard to string together, let's say, the typical dynastic runs. Certainly harder in the NHL than it is in the NBA. It's not nearly as much of a star-driven league. It's not nearly as top-heavy. There's more teams, that enter the fray with a chance to win it all. Which I think is a good thing for the league far more often than not, but it's what makes repeating so impressive to begin with. One of the interesting things here, and I think this is kind of the beauty when you build a winning program, the Florida Panthers they've got some business to take care of this offseason. They've got contracts to take care of, starting with Sam Reinhart, Sam Bennett, and they're not exactly flush with cap space, but one of the things, and whether it's the Panthers, Tampa Bay, Colorado, Vegas, even Carolina to some degree, these teams that are, routinely in the top 6 in the regular season, start to end, and every single year have a chance to win a title. I would say in the last decade or so of the NHL, you've really seen these teams, it's kind of differentiated in a bit more of a have and have not scenario because ultimately, very productive players, they're going to find their money one way or another. But I think the modernization of the sport, there's many things that have come with it. One of them is these players are more comfortable sticking with teams, even whether it's, taking a small discount on the back end of a contract. Because ultimately at the end of the day, it is a hard cap league. Teams only have so much cap space that they can allocate. And if you want to keep a cohesive group together like the Panthers have, or any team for that matter, you've got to have some degree of cap flexibility. Now, there's always a balance between, giving my organization flexibility back versus getting rinsed in contract negotiations. And that's why teams like the Panthers and the Golden Knights and the Avalanche, they can stand on the credibility of, we'll always build a contender and we'll always pay you reasonably well. But it's got to work within the construct of the rest of what our team is doing. And when guys buy into that, it's easier to keep a contender humming along, over a handful of years.
Travis, I got a two-parter here. What's up with all these warm weather cities winning these championships? What's going on here? We got Florida, Tampa Bay, Vegas coming in here.
An entire nation wants to know the answer to that.
What is it like? Maybe that's what it needs. You need warm weather to be able to go inside and play better. But so what is up with that? Is that something that is a word going around the NHL? Like maybe that's like the ticket or something like that. And then how have our Canadian friends felt about still missing out on another Stanley Cup?
There's a lot of theories as to why the Sun Belt is starting to take over hockey. I think how you apportion it, there's probably 1,000 different reasons. Mm-hmm. One thing that I kind of balk at, you hear a lot of this state income tax stuff. I'm not saying it doesn't exist or it doesn't matter to a player at the very top end of the pay spectrum, but what I see from these organizations is they are materially better run top down at a front office level than the northern organizations have been over the last decade or so. And whether that's finding the right front office leadership, investing in data science and building out teams from a more analytics-based approach, which has really taken the NHL over the last 10 years or so, in par with the rest of the leagues. You've seen a lot of the minds, so to speak, in the NHL kind of gravitate towards these markets. And I do think it's a bit of happenstance too, right? Like, the Nashville Predators, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, were one of the few teams that were icing a contender in the Sun Belt. And they were a bit more of an exception than the norm. And actually the Arizona Coyotes were one of the other teams that were reasonably competitive. But the Predators have been very hit or miss at best. The Coyotes were obviously a disaster for budgetary reasons. And there's other warmer market teams, so to speak. San Jose was a 2010s team, not a 2020 team. The Anaheim Ducks were definitely a 2010s team, not a 2020 team. So I think people try and make arguments of a little bit of convenience here. It's not like there's not dead weight that you can find around the southern ports in North America. But, that's where the talent is right now, both in the front office and on the ice right now.
What do you make of the Edmonton Oilers and their situation? Because they've been so close. They've got arguably the two best players on the planet. What do they have to do to get over the hump, and how do they react to this? I don't want to call it a failure, but missing out again on winning a Stanley Cup.
It could be a migraine if you're an Oilers organization, because it's pretty obvious what the problem was, and it's certainly in the Stanley Cup final. But in the same respect, fixing it is quite hard. So let's start with there's two clear issues here. Number one, Florida's depth won that series, right? You wash out apples to apples, the tops of the lineup, and it was the second, third, and fourth line, just like we talked about coming into this series, that really had their way in the non-McDavid, non-Draisaitl minutes. And even when McDavid was on the ice in this series, it should be pointed out, Florida did a damn good job for the second year in a row of containing him. You'll never take that guy off the stat sheet, but they bottled him up best as I've seen any team do it. And you can't do that with just one shutdown line. You got to have 11 or 12, quality impact forwards, which is much easier said than done. And you got to have at least two, if not three, credible defensive pairings. In Edmonton's case, they have a top-heavy, not just roster, but a top-heavy salary cap allocation, which doesn't allow them to spend a ton of money on the bottom six. And what has killed them over the last few years is they have not been able to draft. The NHL, like the one of the big, easy ticket ways to build a contender is if you can figure out your top line and your top pair, and you can draft cheaper, productive talent into the bottom ranks of your lineup. That's kind of the cyclical nature of building and maintaining a contender. Not only has Edmonton missed on a lot of these picks, they've lost talent, right? One of the biggest stories of last offseason was the St. Louis Blues hitting the Oilers with a dual offer sheet and stealing 2 quality players, not just one, that were clearly missed in this series. That's problem number one. And maybe the depth issue is more of a matchup problem with Florida. What is a problem, period, for the Oilers? They need to find a goaltender. It is clear as day they have no confidence in Stuart Skinner. It is clear as day that Calvin Pickard is and I say this professionally speaking, he is a backup goalie at best. They went into the Stanley Cup final with not one, let's say, quality pedigree starting goaltender. And you look around the Western Conference, there's plenty of competition for this Oilers team next year. And even in those series, whether it's Vegas, Dallas, Colorado, even a team like Utah for that matter, right? Edmonton might have many advantages in that series. They're not going to have an advantage in net right now. I expect they invested that position this offseason.
Yeah, so let's, finalize this kind of Stanley Cup. It's been over for a couple days now, but it was interesting, right? It wasn't said that Florida was going to run all the way through the playoffs the way that they did and, have another Stanley Cup matchup the same as last year, right? 7 games last year, 6 games this year. What was your impression of these Stanley Cups and how everything finished? I know Florida kind of, after Game 3 kind of felt like they were in the driver's seat, but was it that Game 5 where Florida really solidified and you knew that they were going to come out of it in Game 6?
I wish I could say that confidently, yes. I think a lot of people watch Game 5 and were like, wow, this is Florida series to lose. But anyone who's watched Connor McDavid for more than 30 seconds is like, I'm not going to discount that guy ever. But I think you hit the nail on the head with one key point. That series drifted away from Edmonton and towards Florida. And each game, honestly, from Game 2 onward, it felt like Florida was like a python around Edmonton's neck, squeezing a little harder and harder. And by games 5 and 6, you're watching this Edmonton team, and it was a struggle to generate meaningful offense. And that is a statement of epic proportions. We've seen the Oilers struggle defensively in the McDavid era. We've seen them just be horrific in net. It is very, very, very uncommon. And you can go through 8 years of McDavid's career at this point and only find a handful of examples where their offense was really taken out of a full game or a full series for that matter. Right. And Florida squeezed them out. And by the way, that's why I think Florida, even though they have a veteran roster, it'd be utterly foolish to count them out for next year. So long as they get these contracts squeezed in between Bennett and Reinhart, they're going to have at least a 3-line quality forward team, at least 2 to 3 quality defensive pairings, and a veteran going to the Hall of Fame goaltender, Sergei Bobrovsky. So, the series Florida definitely took control of that series, and by the end of Game 6, it was clear as day they were the better of the two teams. But, I don't know what you would set the odds at for 2026, but they're not 0% that we get a three-peat. They might be 0.1, 0.2, and I'm thinking, man, if I'm an Oilers fan, any other team but the Panthers.
Right.
It may be a little too early for me to ask you this question, but I'm doing it myself, so I'm sure you'll be game because we don't know the results of the offseason. We don't know what free agency trades are going to happen, but if the Panthers run it back and they're able to keep their guys, what team out there is going to put an end to their run and keep them from winning 3 straight cups?
Ooh, is this an NHL or someone in the East? Because I do think this is important.
Either way, yeah.
I do think the teams. I'm a big Carolina Hurricanes believer. They've let me down way too many times. I've been a big Toronto Maple Leaf skeptic. They have also let everyone else down many times over. Tampa Bay is really on the right side of the aging curve. It's not like any of those teams couldn't get Florida in a series, but where I look at the real strength, the teams that either reflect what Florida's doing or have some sort of magic bullet weapon like a McDavid, it's all in the West, right? And it's the Big Four. It's Colorado, it's Dallas, it's Vegas, and it's Edmonton. I truly, maybe Carolina's in that mix, but I would argue that the 4 teams with the best chance of beating Florida in the series are all in the Western Conference, which I promise you is music to the ears of Bill Zito, Paul Maurice, and the rest of the Florida Panthers organization.
I know Vegas is actually pretty high on the Hurricanes as well, so you're not alone there with the way too early odds for winning the Cup next season. Now turning our attention to the Utah Mammoth. We're dialed in on the offseason. Draft's coming up next week. We'll dig into that, but I wanted to hit free agency first. There was a report, I guess. Well, it's Elliot Friedman of the 32 Thoughts, the podcast, NHL Insider. You're familiar with his work. He reported the Utah Mammoth and a few other teams are in on Brad Marchand. What are your thoughts on Marchand's fit with Utah?
I think it's interesting. I think it's clear as day that even though he is certainly in his twilight, boy, can he play in the right scenario, right?
He was unbelievable in the postseason.
One other thing and I think this is one of the beautiful parts, and you're kind of seeing it a little bit in the NBA Finals with this Pacers team that's kind of like this ragtag group, but I don't even mean to get stuck on this Marchand point, but I think it's important. We talk a lot in hockey, and I think it's it might be the most undiscussed philosophies or items or elements about a team and what differentiates those who have success and those who don't. It is such a sum of the parts sport, and when you put Marchand on that line with Luosterainen and Lundell, it was like replicating the same high-quality, two-way, frenetic, physical, agile player 3 times over on the same line, and they just vaporized every team in the Stanley Cup playoffs. They were by far the best line throughout the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's Florida's third line, by the way. And you look at a guy like Marchand, and you're like, yeah, he's the type of player going to the Hall of Fame. He'll have success in any scenario. He certainly would fit in with Utah. I think it's more unlikely than not. If I'm Brett Marchand, I'm thinking I'm either going back to Boston or I'm going to a team with a bona fide, Stanley Cup bid, very short odds. Why would I go to Utah if I can go to Carolina, right? If I'm not going to Florida or Boston. But it is an interesting theory in one respect, which is, Utah's in a fascinating scenario. They've got they got $20 million in cap space, 20 players rostered, a draft pick that is insanely valuable that they could use and immediately land an impact player or trade it for an impact player today in the NHL. And how they invest in that, a lot of the speculation started with, well, they're going to be a big player for Mitch Marner. And I fundamentally believe that to be the case. Until Mitch Marner's decision or fate has been decided, Utah is going to be on a short list of teams bidding him. But if you remember the last time we spoke, one of the names, and it's very similar to the Marchand idea, John Tavares, I could see a scenario where if for whatever reason, and I don't think it's likely, but if for whatever reason Toronto says, you know what, Marner's the guy with all the, the upside. We think the playoff stuff, even though it has killed us in the past with him, it's more of a team issue than a Marner issue. We're willing to commit this cap money for a superstar, which Mitch Marner is, and we're going to let John Tavares walk. That is the type veteran forward who can still really play well that maybe says, you know what, I will sign a 2-year deal and finish my career in Utah and actually build a playoff contender with this younger core. So I actually think the more likely veteran name is Tavares of the two, because I could see a path where Toronto actually says, you know what, we're dumb, but we're not that dumb. We're not going to let Marner walk for nothing and let Tavares go instead.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd like to go back to Marchand a little bit here. Of course, he's, playing father time here, doing well. As you said, he had a tremendous year. But, we're all new to this NHL life, right? And so trying to totally understand what a player is looking for in their career. Now, Marchand, a 2-time champion, what is he looking for, right? He's gotten Stanley Cup. He's been a part of these tremendous teams now, 19, 20 years in the league. What are you looking for at the tail end of your career? Because normally, like in football, mostly, if I've won my championships, I've gotten all the stuff. Now I'm just looking for the payday to go off to the sunset. If Utah comes at him with
lifestyle,
right, or lifestyle with a great payday, why would he turn that down? Or what does an NHL player this late in the career, just won the championship, so that's been achieved? What are they looking for this late in their career?
I think it's a phenomenal question again, and I'll tell you what, it's a mixed bag, right? It really does depend on the player, and I'll give you a few examples here. But last offseason, we watched. It was last offseason. Jonathan Marchessault, the exact same position as Brad Marchand is in right now, where he wasn't a legacy Vegas Golden Knight, but he was part of the initial year one Vegas Golden Knight, one of these misfits. Build him from the ground up, won a Stanley Cup in Vegas. Felt like he was actually getting squeezed a little bit as a 34, 35-year-old UFA, and said, you know what, I'm going to go sign a multi-year deal in Nashville. I've already got my cup. Here's my paycheck. Here's my money. But again, like those decisions can work out, cannot work out. And in Marchessault's case, go find who's on the proverbial trade block this offseason. And I would assess one of the reasons why Marchessault's on the trade block is neither Nashville nor Marchessault is really happy with where the Predators are.
Yeah.
And the million-dollar question you never know, everyone wants their money. I think that's human nature.
Right.
But these guys do not get to where they are in their careers without being insanely competitive. And I just think it's impossible to turn that off. Like there are very few guys in any of the big four sports, I think, looking for that country club opportunity. To your point, I don't think Utah's a country club opportunity. I think this is, hey, we think we have a playoff team next year. Help us be part of that, and here's a big check. I think that could be a compelling argument. But if I'm Marchand, I'm thinking about his career trajectory. Lifetime Boston Bruin. The only reason he's not going to go back to Boston, I almost said that like I was from Boston. If he's not going to go back to Boston, it's because he's so jaded and skeptical about where that organization is as a contender, which, by the way, would mean, why am I leaving Florida? Why am I not considering it Carolina? I can stay on the East Coast, close to my family, chase that Stanley Cup, and still get paid. I think there's going to be options for, obviously, a guy that caliber.
Or move to Utah and hunt, which apparently, according to reports, is what he does. So
sell him hard, baby.
This
Sell
could
him
be
hard.
a good fit. Year-round hunting here in Utah. Let's get to the draft real quick. What guys do you think are realistic to select it for? If you're looking at the draft right now, there can't be a long list of guys. If Utah keeps their pick at 4, who do you think they should take?
I think if I'm picking at 4, and again, Utah, Columbus, there's a short list of teams where probably every option is on the table. Draft, trade the pick down, or trade the pick for an impact player. Like all three of them, I think Utah's one of those teams that checks all three. If they are going to draft, I think it's going to come at the center position, because I think two clear options. If you assume Schaefer and Misa go 1-2, which feels like a lock, there's a near certainty, or a mathematical certainty, I will say, if it goes 1-2 that way, that either James Hagens out of Boston or Anton Frundell from Sweden, who played in the Swedish Hockey League over as a developmental two-way centerman, a little bit bigger than Hagens. Those are two guys who not only are, the blue chip type prospect that you're looking to land in any draft that you would expect to get inside of the top 5. They are year 1, at worst year 2 impact players by the time they hit the NHL. I mean, that's how quality a player we're talking about. And to me, two slightly different skill sets. I think if you look at the draft prospectus, most mock drafts, the aggregate results typically have Hagens going one pick-ish before Frundell. And he's a bit more of a playmaker, but he's also a little bit smaller. And Anton Frundell comes off as more of the two-way Sasha Barkov type player, where you can maybe even trust him more defensively off the rip before even his offensive game comes along. I do think one way or another, though, and again, there's going to be options for Utah, but I definitely see them most likely outcome addressing the middle of the lineup and landing an impact center come the draft.
Well, I know that draft is coming up next week, as we said. So what is that free agency now that the finals are over? Like, what is the NHL equivalent to what's going on in the NBA right now? You got Giannis Antetokounmpo, you got Kevin Durant trading blocks, some free agency movements there. What is that equivalent to the NHL? Who is going to be a big market? Like you're just saying that Utah Mammoth should be able to go choose a center. If they get Marchand, does that change their, focus in the draft, right? Like what can happen here in this NHL? What is those big name possible trade moves or free agency moves here in the NHL before the draft happens next week?
Yeah, it's a little mix of which players are going to go where, because there's a handful of significantly impactful players and then kind of a muddied middle, and it's also the direction of where a handful of teams go, right? And for 20 years, Toronto thinks they're the center of the hockey universe, and they haven't been. They actually may be the center of the hockey universe this offseason, because I think the decision with Marner and Tavares, like we were talking about earlier, is probably the biggest unknown and the most impactful for the talent it would displace in free agency. And if Mitch Marner does become a free agent, again, I want to be very clear. For whatever you think about like a James Harden light, which really that's effectively what Mitch Marner's career feels like at this point, 32 teams in the NHL, including the Maple Leafs, are better with Mitch Marner in the lineup. It is indisputable. And it really, with him, is a question of how expensive is this going to get? That is a key domino to fall, not because of, obviously, the Toronto and Marner equation, but like we talked about, the residual impact with Tavares. I think Florida will take care of their guys. But I do think one other interesting name to watch, winger Nikolai Ehlers out of Winnipeg. The Winnipeg front office has done a great job retaining their talent between Scheifele and Hellebuck and Pionk. But Nikolai, anytime you have a first-line winger hitting free agency, and I know Utah's got a decent degree of depth at winger, but again, you're talking about first-line talent, right? A guy you can pair with a Clayton Keller and know that you are going to win those minutes far, far, far more often than not. Doesn't matter the quality of competition. That's the player side. I think from the team side, we've talked a lot that we expect Utah to be actually one of the most active teams come the draft and come free agency. I think Columbus is right there with them. There was reports out today that Columbus is looking aggressively to trade multiple draft picks to either move up or to acquire talent. I think that's a big piece and a big team to watch. As soon as you start to see some of these either desperate teams, talent-chasing teams, or a couple of these big domino players to fall, I think the rest will fall under it. But I think that's where my eyes are set. Toronto for sure, Winnipeg for sure, Columbus for sure, and Utah for sure. Those are the four markets I'm watching.
He's Travis Yost. He writes for TSN covering the NHL. We could go on for another half hour, Travis. Great information, great conversation. Always love having you on. Thanks for coming on, and we'll do it again soon.
Yeah, I'll add one more footer, I guess, to what I just said, too. Let me go 10 seconds here.
Yep.
J.J. Peterka in Buffalo, if the Sabres are foolish enough to get pressured by him and his agent for a trade, Utah should be the first team. They should just set up a 24/7 hotline with the Sabres because Peterka is the type of talent you want to steal. Have a good weekend, boys.
Thanks, Travis. Thanks for that nugget. We're going to mark that name.
Yeah. So, Ryan, have the jet just sitting in the Buffalo airport, just right there, just ready for that to happen. As soon as we get the word like, well, we're ready, let's go.
Now Ryan's like, hey, now I'm going to go poaching.
Right.
We're going to go get some players.
Thanks, Yost. Appreciate that tidbit.
Yeah, that's good. All right, Travis Yost, thanks for coming on. That was great. We got to get to a break. When we come back, we're going to rank the Big 12 quarterbacks going into the 2025 season. Can't wait to hear what Sly has to say about a list that our own Steve Bartle made. We'll break that down next. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
2 crashes on I-15, one northbound and one southbound, are still being cleared up at Riverdale Road exit. Southbound delays start just over 12th Street in Ogden, and northbound slowdowns go back to Hillfield Road in Layton. In Salt Lake County, usual southbound delays on I-15 going from Murray all the way to the Bluffdale exit. Take UTA instead of driving and actually enjoy your ride. Try UTA to see the difference. Plan your trip at rideuta.com or on the Transit app. With your traffic update, I'm Alex Napolis here on 97.5. The KSL Sports Zone.
Now let's get this party started.
This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G.
There are a couple of reasons that I didn't become a doctor.
Same reasons you didn't become a paleontologist?
Why do you crack a smile and then make a joke?
I'm just saying, there's a couple of reasons I wasn't a lawyer. Number 1, the LSAT scared me. Number 2, I thought I'd fail miserably. And number 3, I didn't think I was smart enough. So yeah, there are just a couple of reasons why I didn't become a lawyer.
Can I make a point without you attacking me?
I'm not attacking you. You've never talked about wanting to be a doctor before. To me, this seems like you were just right on the cusp of going to medical school, and then just these 1 or 2 little things came up and made you think, no, I'm not going to do that.
Doctor?
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 Can you not attack me? You know, it bugs me when you do that.
Doctor? Doctor? Doctor?
Stop playing that.
And doctor. Well, we miss anyone?
Catch Hans and Scotty weekdays from noon to 3 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
At Tim Daly Mazda Southtown, we understand the value of a dollar going further, especially right now. So we're offering up to $10,000 off almost any brand new 2025 Mazda. Yes, up to $10,000 off. Or get 1.9% APR on a 2025 Mazda CX-50.
Yes!
You heard right. Get up to $10K off or 1.9%. Make your dollars go farther at Tim Daly Mazda Southtown today. Financing for up to 36 months OAC. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends soon.
2025 Ute Stampede Rodeo and Extreme Bulls in Nephi, Utah is here. 91 years of rodeo fun happening July 9th through the 12th at 8 p.m. nightly at the Juab County Fairgrounds. July 9th, it's a Wild Wednesday featuring PRCA Extreme Bull Riding. July 10th through the 12th, it's PRCA Rodeo. Flying U Rodeo Company is here with the entertainment, plus the City of Fun Carnival. Rising Star Cole Hartley. Heritage Parade Friday, July 11th at 4. Mammoth Parade Saturday, July 12th. Lions Club Chuck Wagon Breakfast Friday and Saturday, 6:30 to 10:30 at Nephi City Park. Get your tickets now at UteStampedeRodeo.com.
If a small budget's cramping your big summer plans, consider a low-rate home equity line of credit from America First Credit Union. Right now, with a new HELOC, you'll get an introductory 4.49% APR for the first 6 months. And that means more cash to get stuff done. Helping your money do more means helping you do more. So apply for a limited-time HELOC at AmericaFirst.com today. Introductory variable annual percentage rate is subject to eligibility, terms, conditions, creditworthiness, and change. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
Attention RVers! In 57 years, Motorsportsland has never had a sale like this before. We've got over 100 new models coming in and our lots are already almost full. We've got to clear out inventory fast, so we've selected over 100 new travel trailers, fifth wheels, and toy haulers to sell to you at or below dealer cost. Like our 2024 Encore Venue off-road travel trailer, MSRP at $30,000, normally priced at $25,000, dealer cost at $22,400, and this week only priced to you for below $17,000 with amazing financing options. Or our 2024 28-foot Stealth Toy Hauler fifth wheel, MSRP at $99,330, normally priced at $83,500, this week only $67,743. Save more than ever before on your dream RV, but these deals are disappearing quick, so visit a Motorsportsland RV Center today.
Let Motorsportsland help you get away.
Motorsportsland.com.
Guys, are you struggling with ED and sick of taking pills? Mint Medical Clinic has developed a new, never-before-seen process for treating ED that has been tested by over 50 clinical studies, including Cambridge University. If you're sick of the pills and side effects, call Mint Medical Clinic today to receive a free consultation, blood flow ultrasound, and intimacy kit that provides powerful results in the bedroom. This is a $750 offer free to callers now. Call 801-804-8000. That's 801-804-8000.
Have you dreamed of a home golf simulator but worry you just don't have the space? Fairway Hideaway brings that dream to life with the Murphy Golf Simulator. This sleek fold-away closet system transforms any garage, basement, or office into playing Augusta, Pebble Beach, or hundreds of other famous courses around the world. Once you're done, simply push a button and it folds away into a 2-foot closet system that any house designer would be proud of. If you decide to put it in your garage, you still have space to park your cars. From Park City Chalets to Salt Lake Townhomes, Murphy Golf Simulators blend seamlessly into your space with no renovation required. Zone listeners will save $1,000 off their Murphy Golf Simulator by getting your installation scheduled before end of summer. Play iconic courses, perfect your swing, or host your next golf night, all from the comfort of home. Then use a remote control and watch it fold away. Learn more at fairwayhideaway.com. That's fairwayhideaway.com.
All Pro Services is your trusted source for janitorial services. The attention to detail will keep your office spotless. Serving Utah for over 30 years with unbeatable integrity. AllProUtah.com. Call in the pros. All Pro is here for you. AllProUtah.com.
Accessing. When TV and radio collide.
Love it.
This is what you get. You're listening to JJ and Alex. Presented by G2G Bars.
Don't touch that dial!
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is one of our favorite things, and we love to do it each and every week. Nominate the youth sports volunteer that you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week. Submit your nomination at kslsports.com/contests and listen every Thursday afternoon to JJ and Alex for the winner. Help us celebrate the efforts of those volunteers making an impact with the Hercules Hero of the Week, sponsored by Hercules First Federal Credit Union and Beehive Meals. Always interesting music choices. Not sure what Maneater had to do with that, but
I don't care.
That was a vibe Sly enjoyed.
I was vibing, man. Anything early 90s, I'm all there.
Early 90s.
That's what Friday's all about.
He thinks that was in the early 90s.
Is that the 90s?
Oh,
I just remember it on like Babysitter's Club or something.
Very 80s. Very 80s.
Okay, risky business.
So now I have to stop and search. So, 1982 by Hall & Oates was Maneater. Now, you probably saw it in a lot of movies when you were growing up in the 90s.
That was a Hall & Oates classic? Okay.
Hall & Oates, 1982.
Hall & Oates gets it done.
Now,
okay.
we could have the debate, Yacht Rock or no? I say no. Not Yacht Rock.
I'm not a judge here. I don't know. I couldn't. Alex?
I say it is.
Really?
You got me. It's in some good movies. That's all I know. That's what I be vibing out because I'm a movie
Hall &
guy.
Oates is one of those bands that was kind of yacht rock, but then they got in the 80s and they went a different direction. They were very pop. I'm borderline on that. I'm going to say no.
It's like
That's
when
my
Lil
opinion.
Wayne tried to do hard rock. I'm just like,
Regardless, Hall & Oates
Lil Wayne and hard
extremely underrated.
Yeah,
I agree.
see?
I agree.
This
that
is somebody born in 1999. Preach the truth, brother. Preach the truth. All right. Always a treat when we hear Hall & Oates here on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone. All right. Quarterback eater. You were a quarterback eater. You know how good these guys are. There's some good ones in the Big 12. Mm-hmm. Is there an elite one? Is there a Heisman Trophy candidate?
A Heisman Trophy?
I don't think so. A lot of things would have to break their way. They'd have to be better than a lot of Big Ten or SEC guys because that's kind of how it goes nowadays. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts on who the best Big 12 quarterbacks are. Now, our colleague and University of Utah insider, Steve Bartle, took his crack at it. He put together a list of the top Big 12 quarterback rankings. I'm going to start at the bottom. And me and Alex did this exercise earlier in the week. I wanted to do it with you because you have a unique perspective as both a former college football player that played on the defensive side and someone who stands on the sideline today as an analyst who watches all these guys. You know these teams really well. I want to hear your opinion on what you think. Now, some of these guys we haven't seen yet. And so I really won't dig in too much of the guys at the bottom, like House Haney of Oklahoma State, no idea. All right, former TCU quarterback, ends up at Oklahoma State. Taven Jackson, UCF, no idea again. Indiana transfer, don't know a lot about him. Nico Marshall, West Virginia, same thing. New coach there, new everything. I don't think West Virginia's going to be very good this year. I think they're in transition. Don't expect much from him. Now, Connor Wigman, once a five-star recruit. Let me start there. At Texas A&M in 2024, 896 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Not great numbers, but a five-star guy. Should he be higher, or do you like him at 13?
No, you stick him there.
Yeah,
You ain't
I
proved
agree.
nothing yet. I don't care about your high
Agree.
school stats that are bot. Don't give me a high school star rating that's bot. I don't care. Keep him there or lower him. I mean, you got 800 yards. You obviously weren't good enough to be put in.
Right.
We've seen true freshmen come in and make a stance, and he wasn't. Sam Levitt was a freshman, right?
He was.
Right?
Yes.
So I don't know. You stay there. Prove it. I mean, you have the capabilities, right? There's a 5-star for a reason, hopefully. But hopefully you're a 5-star for a reason. You got to prove it. 896 yards ain't going to get it done in the Big 12.
So I think the list gets interesting at 12 because this is where you start getting into guys that are experienced, are proven, or have a lot of hype. Caden Salter, he was at Liberty last year. He's going to be the quarterback at Colorado. He had a better 2023 when Liberty was really, really good.
Right.
But last year he had a 56% completion rate, 1,886 yards, 15 touchdowns, 6 picks. Also can run with the football, 587 rush yards, 7 touchdowns. But Sly, that's a big drop from what Shedeur Sanders did last year. Do you like him at 12, or do you think he should be higher?
I think it's good there, right? Because here's my thing: is chemistry, right? One, you got to have matchups. I tell you that all the time. Matchups is the biggest determinant on, like, does my team match up well with the teams? Like, I could have all the talent in the world, but if I don't have complementary players, complementary offensive line, which we've known Colorado does not have a great offensive line. I'm gonna suffer at the quarterback position. So I keep him there until he's able to prove himself in that system. He's able to do more. Hopefully he doesn't have as much pressure as Shedeur Sanders had, and he can actually let loose. He's very talented, I tell you that much. We've said it from the last couple of years, so I think that was a huge pickup for Colorado. But I think he's in a good position to be able to do something. But I like him where he's at right now.
At number 11, Steve has Noah Fafita.
This is what got me.
Yeah.
11?
Well, Things did not go well last year in Tucson.
I mean, he could go well, whatever. This is an individual list.
Yeah.
Noah Fafita is a talented quarterback that's proven for the last couple years. Tetsuo McMillan aside, Noah Fafita gets it done. I would have definitely had him in at least my top 7, but 11, I don't know if I would have Noah Fafita that low. I'm a fan of his, one, because how short he is and what he's able to get done. You got to appreciate that. And I think that, one, they're transitioning from their coach who went to Washington.
Yes.
New system in there. There's a lot of things that happen with all of that. But I think another year under a belt, the comfortability, understanding what you got, I think Noah Fafita he's probably primed for a really good year.
So you think he can bounce back? And,
for sure.
And then does that make Arizona a team to watch as a team that could bounce back?
Yeah, nobody was looking at freaking Arizona State to do what they did.
Fair.
But a couple pieces, and they were right in the mix, right? And so I think that's the same thing for Arizona. I think, who knows what – I haven't followed Arizona closely, so I don't know their offseason moves. But if they're able to have another year of consistency and continuity within their team, I think that they would have a good year.
I'll have to power through some of these pretty quick. We're running out of time. Jalen Daniels of Kansas, probably one of the most, I would say, overhyped players in the conference.
Yeah, for sure.
The numbers don't match the hype.
They don't. I keep him where he's at.
Okay,
or
10.
Lower.
Okay, I feel like 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Kansas did some nice things at the end of the year, but another losing season. I feel like he's way overhyped.
Yeah, he was injured last year too for a good majority of stuff, but he didn't blow my socks off as far as the quarterback's position.
Now here's somebody I think that's somebody to keep an eye on. Brendan Sorsby of Cincinnati, 64% completion rate, 2,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Also had 9 touchdowns on the ground, and he's young. He's back as a sophomore for Cincinnati, another team that's kind of under the radar.
Yeah, I think he's another guy that just needed some confidence. Got a year under his belt last year, so he's definitely a guy to watch. I would probably put him above the Texas Tech Morton guy. But
interesting. Who's number 8?
Right. Right. I'd put him up there, but I like kind of where he's at on this list. Give him room to grow and be up there. But, yeah, I like that.
Baron Morton, as you mentioned, you'd have him lower. 3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Really benefited by having an amazing running back.
Yeah, total pocket guy.
Yep.
But, again, he's just another guy that can could benefit from having a year under his belt and going at it again.
Doesn't wow you, but gets the job done. Jake Retzloff's at 7. We don't know his status. There's no update.
Right.
We might learn more on Monday. We might not. But he's on the list for now.
With Jake, I really like Jake. I told you throughout the season I like the risks that he takes. Of course, quarterback position, the most scrutinized position. You mess up, it's going to be magnified, and that's some things that has happened. But he can throw the ball. And if he can get it to his receivers, they got a talented defense. They got to score points. As you said, if you got a talented defense the way you do, put some points on the board, you're going to win a lot of games, and he's going to be in the right position. So I like him. Actually, his position on his list is not. Yeah, that's pretty good.
We'll continue to watch and see what his status is. At number 6, Steve's got Devin Dampier of Utah.
I just don't know. I love Devin Dampier, but you got to understand this is a new team. Same system, but new team. So, yeah, he's familiar with it, but is everybody else, right? So, with football, you got one opportunity. Every Saturday, you get one opportunity. And if Utah gets off to a slow start, that's going to have effects on the end of the season. And that's what's so different about basketball. It can't be the Indiana Pacers where I can have a slow start to the season and finish strong. It can't be like that to have the type of season that Utah wants to have. So, here, I don't know how his talents are going to translate from New Mexico to the Big 12.
Led the 4th best offense in the country.
Correct.
1,168 rushing yards, 19 touchdowns. Are you kidding me as a quarterback? But then I look at the passing numbers. 12 touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 57% completion rate against that schedule. That's not good enough. That's got to improve dramatically. If it does, Dampier could be one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. Josh Hoover at 5. I actually think he should be higher.
Yeah, I like Josh Hoover. I don't know if anybody watched the TCU games of last year, but Hoover's a talent now. Now they had Jack Beck, the receiver. He went to the Rams, didn't he?
I can't remember where he ended up, but he did get drafted.
He got drafted high.
Yep.
I like Jack Beck a lot, but like Josh Hoover, the way he can thread the ball in the right situations again with another year under his belt of confidence. Josh Hoover is a talent, man. I was very surprised in watching film and then seeing him in person. He could throw the ball. I would actually have him higher on this list. He's a very good talent at that QB position.
Agree. I might even put him at number 2, to be quite honest. 66.5% completion rate, almost 4,000 yards passing, 27 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Really good. They won 6 of the last 7. Look out for TCU this year. Rocco Becht, Iowa State. Steady. I have no problem with him where he put him at 4. Maybe I'd have him one spot lower.
Not me. I got Rocco at number 1.
You got him number 1. You like Rocco that much?
I like Rocco Becht.
Okay.
Simply because of his instincts.
Numbers are good.
His numbers are great, but the style of offense are not going to give him Peyton Manning numbers, right? But the way he orchestrates and understands the game, you can see that from a player on the sidelines. And you watch him, you can see the type of player he is. I have Rocco Becht at number 1, especially what he's been able to do, that experience that he got last year, in stepping into this deal, going all the way to the Big 12 championship game. I got him at number 1 for me. I got Rocco Becht at number 1, a quarterback in this conference.
Okay, I'll do 3, 2, 1 real quick because I want to get your thoughts on the top guy here, what you think of him moving forward. But Avery Johnson, number 3, Kansas State. I was underwhelmed with him last year. The numbers are okay, but there was just too many moments where he could have stepped up and didn't. I know he's young. It's going to take some time, but 3 is way too high for him. Sawyer Robertson really impressed me last year. Good numbers. Saved Dave Aranda's job. I don't mind him at that 2-3 range. He might end up being the best quarterback in the Big 12. And at number 1, Steve had Sam Leavitt, Arizona State. Are you buying the Sam Leavitt hype?
No, I mean, hype. The dude is, you got to. He's a talent. He's for sure. I don't know if he's the number 1 quarterback.
Some people are putting him as a early Heisman Trophy candidate this year.
I don't know about that. He's got a lot of attitude, and which is great. You need that as a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not a shot or anything. Sam Leavitt has got a good attitude, but he's got to be able to hone it in. And you got to be able to handle when everybody is going to be gunning for you. You're not hidden anymore. People know about you. You're on a Heisman list. People are going to want to get the best out of you. So how does he react to that? That is what I have reservations on. He's definitely got all the talent. I just don't think he's the number 1 quarterback in the league. Sawyer Robinson, like him, talented. Don't think he's a top 5 guy in this league. Avery Johnson, definitely not. I think he's a better runner than he is a throwing quarterback.
There you go. There's our reaction to the Big 12 quarterback rankings on KSLSports.com right now. You can go there right now, and you can share your opinions with us online if you would like to. We got to take a short break. When we come back, the top 10 game, and then Utah Jazz and NBA draft talk coming up at 5 o'clock. Eric Seropoulos will join us. We'll get into all that and much more coming up on JJ and Alex 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
US 89 is very slow heading from Lane up to I-84, and commuters seek an alternate route to the delays on I-15 in Riverdale. At least all lanes are now open on southbound I-15. Slowing is showing signs of thinning out and getting back to normal. Advanced Window Products, factory direct, affordable windows. Call today. They're on the way. Financing is available. Save now and pay later at advancedwindows.com. With your traffic update, Alex Napolis here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
There's problem solvers. I'm not one of them. I'm a problem creator.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, right. I call it challenging groupthink, but really I'm an instigator.
See, I'm more of a problem pointer-outer.
Doing it wrong.
Exactly. Which I'd probably rather be than a problem creator.
Sure, it's better.
But easier than problem solving.
Neither help.
No, nothing.
Neither fix anything.
No. I mean, my living is to pop on the microphone and say, hey, that team really stunk out there. Well, how did they make it better? I don't know.
Not my problem.
Don't you get paid to figure that out? Boy, that team stinks. Why do they stink? Well, I could give you a number of different reasons.
How do you fix it?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's your problem.
Not up to me.
I missed the part where that's my problem.
Well, I love this job.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Every day here on JJ and Alex, you hear me and Alex talk about Salt Lake City Fat Loss. slcfatloss.com. That's the website. You can go visit that website right now to learn more about this program. Both of us needed to lose weight a year ago. Well, it's a little more than a year ago now. It was March of 2024. I had reached my lowest point when it came to weight. It was the heaviest I've ever been, and I wanted to make a change. I was highly motivated to make a change. Couldn't stand looking at myself. I was worried about my health, all those things. And I heard about Salt Lake City Fat Loss, and they approached us with an opportunity to give this program a try. And I was like, I got nothing else to lose. I got to figure out how to lose weight. I've tried a lot of things. Let me try this. I'm telling you, it worked. 60 days later, after I started the program, I was down 40 pounds in 60 days. Sounds crazy, sounds nuts, but it really does work. And it's not pills, it's not injections, it's not any of that stuff. It's just getting in a calorie deficit, eating healthy food, and you're not hungry doing it. And all of a sudden, the fat melts away, and then you become even more motivated because you're having success. And that's so important. Salt Lake City Fat Loss will put you on a program. They're going to help you each and every day. There's going to be a plan in place. You're going to be held accountable, but you're going to be taught along the way, and you're going to be supported along the way. That's going to help you a lot. They give you all the tools you need to lose weight and lose it fast. And then when you're done losing the weight in the 60-day program, you're going to be able to keep it off too, because they're going to teach you how to do that. Give them a call or go to their website, slcfatloss.com, and learn about this program. If you want to give it a shot, tell them JJ and Alex sent you. You're going to get $200 off. slcfatloss.com.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370. 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Discover the exceptional taste of Bar W Beef, where quality meets flavor. Bar W Beef is dry aged for 14 days, ensuring rich marbling and tender texture. Whether you're grilling, roasting, or pan-searing, you'll find cuts perfect for any occasion. Experience the bold flavors and impressive sizes that are ideal for special gatherings. Order today and enjoy free shipping on purchases over $150. Elevate your meals with Bar W Beef. Order online at barwbeef.com or visit the store in Nephi.
Hi, this is Jay Stevens, host of the Utah Puck Report. Thanks to our sponsor, Larry H. Miller Toyota in Murray, where you're not just a guest, you're part of the family. And when you are part of the family, buying or servicing your vehicle is easy. Right now, get a new 2025 Toyota Tundra for only 2.99% APR for 72 months. Visit them in Murray or online at LarryHMillerToyota.com. 72 monthly payments of $1,519 for every $1,000 financed. On approved credit through Toyota Financial Services, price plus tax, title, license, and a $299 dock fee. Offer ends 6/30/25.
The 2025 Ute Stampede Rodeo and Extreme Bulls in Nephi, Utah, happening July 9th through the 12th at 8 p.m. nightly at the Juab County Fairgrounds. PRCA Pro Rodeo, PRCA Extreme Bull Riding, Flying U Rodeo Company, and more. Get your tickets at UtestampedeRodeo.com.
Traffic's rough, but your parking lot doesn't have to be. GoPave Utah keeps things smooth with expert asphalt maintenance at GoPaveUtah.com. Call or visit GoPaveUtah.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
the biggest name.
You're locked into JJ and Alex. With the insight and analysis on the teams you can't live without. Presented by G2G Bars. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah Jensen, Steve Sylvester's hanging out and sitting in for Alex Curie. Now, it's not often we have a Utah great on our show. Actually, it is, which is the nice thing about having Sly all the time. But it's my turn and my responsibility to handle the top 10 game today. So, in honor of Sly being with us for the next 3 shows, I thought it would be fun to do a little University of Utah football trivia. So you fans, you can play along with this. I want to test Sly's knowledge of his alma mater. Okay? How well does he know his program? How well does he know his program's record books? So I've kind of tipped off Sly now because I'm saying this. So he's going to spend all weekend going over the media guide and going over the records because he's going to want to be ready for the next 2 shows. But I caught him off guard today. He's not ready for today. But I'm going to start out easy today. We'll do some others that might be a little more tricky on Monday and Tuesday. But today, I'm going to ask you to name the top 10 career rushers in Utah football history.
Top 10?
Top 10. Alex can help you. Start the timer whenever you want, Alex. Go.
Eddie Johnson.
Ding.
Zach Moss.
Ding.
Devontae Booker.
Ding.
Matt Asiata. Quinton Ganther.
Alex,
who's the last one? Thanks, Alex.
You're offering no help
I'm
here.
not going to be very much
Let's
help.
go. Makai Bernard. He's not up there.
Nope.
He's been here forever, I thought.
Not as long as some of these other guys.
Let's go. Who's the other guys I played with?
You might have to dig deep in some past years.
Yeah,
some
for
old
real.
some old heads.
Old heads. Eddie.
So close. So close.
Oh, I'm off, bro. I'm trying to,
No,
why am I going
You just
on
got half of
generations?
a guy's name.
Right. Well, I said Eddie Johnson, but like Eddie Wide? No, he's not up there.
All right. How many? Let's see how many you got.
I got 4.
I'm going to start at the bottom. Okay. Number 10 all time with 2,150 yards rushing.
Darrell Mack.
Mike Anderson.
Mike.
Who went on to play in the NFL, was an NFL Rookie of the Year. Mike Anderson, all time Utah great. Number
Jamal
9.
Anderson, Mike Anderson. Freaking.
Yep. Jamal is not on the list, by the way.
Darrell Mack.
Darrell Mack not on there.
Darrell Mack's not on there?
He is not. Number 9, 2,179 yards. Eddie Lewis, who played for the Utes from 1982
Eddie Lewis.
to 1985. The Utes ran the ball a lot in the early 80s. They ran a little bit of that wishbone triple option stuff.
Gotcha.
So they had a lot of guys do really well in the 80s. All right, number 8. It's a little more modern. 2,560 yards. John White III.
John White, that was a beast.
And he did that in 2 years.
Hey, John White was a beast.
He was.
Beast.
That 2011 team was good. I'll never forget him running on the frozen tundra of the Palouse in Washington State. Had a big game that night up in Pullman. Number 7 with 2,601 yards, a Utah native, Juan Johnson, who played for the Utes from 1994 to 1997.
I don't know that.
Yep, some really good Utah teams. Beat BYU a couple times. Actually, I think they won 3 in a row against BYU during that era for Ron McBride. Number 6, you got to go way back for this one. 2,616 yards. Del Popcorn Rogers, who
Del Rogers,
who ran the ball for the Utes from 1978 to 81. Went on to play for the Green Bay Packers and has been a longtime sportscaster in the Sacramento area. By the way, he's one of us. Number 5, 2,630 yards. Chris Fuamatu Ma'afala. So him and Juan Johnson both played at the same time and both rushed for over 2,600 yards in their careers. That's all you need to know about the mid-90s Utes. They ran the ball a lot. Number 4, 2,773 yards. You got this one, Devontae Booker, and he did that in 2 years.
2 years.
Phenomenal run for Devontae Booker. Number 3 with 2,995 yards, Tony Lindsay, who played from 1977 to 1980. You got number 2, Eddie Johnson, 3,219 yards, played from 84 to 88 and held that record for 30 years until number 1 broke it. And man, did he blow it apart. 4,067 yards rushing for Utah's all-time leading rusher, Zach Moss, from 2016 to 2019. So 3 out of 10.
Who put this list together?
Not great, Sly. I didn't put the list together. These are facts.
These are facts.
I didn't make this up. This is the Utah record book. This isn't made up. This isn't fake news.
Darrell Mack had to have been on that list. One, he was a 1,000-yard rusher in one season, but he played 4 years. He's had to be more than 2,100 yards.
Sly, you know, there's been a lot of good running backs at that school, and that's a lot of, like, 2,150 yards for number 10. That's
Quinton
a lot of
Ganther's
rushing
not
yards.
on that list?
Nope, he is not.
He was there for 3 years.
I know. And he was a good running back.
Great running back.
You got to be really good to break this list, man. I'm telling you.
That's
it's a really
insane.
impressive list.
All right. I'm going to do some digging because I'm going to debunk this.
We'll see if
I gotta
Sly
figure this out.
does better than 3 out of 10 on Monday when we're at the BYU golf event.
Ew. Oh, all my answers are going to be shouted obnoxiously.
Monday's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be shouted obnoxiously, by the way. So if you see a random black guy on the course just yelling for no reason, it's 'cause I'm trying to breathe down there in Utah County. That's all.
Oh, you'll be all right, Sly. You'll make it. You'll do all right. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're talking NBA, Utah Jazz, the draft with Eric Spiropoulos of the Utah Jazz and NBA.com next on JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hockey fans, let your voice be heard with the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum. Visit the Utah Mammoth page on KSLSports.com to connect with the team, other fans, and our KSL Sports insiders. Start chatting today in the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum on KSLSports.com. Stay up to date with everything Utah Jazz related with the new Jazz Notes newsletter. Get draft updates, analysis, and be the first to know about every off-season move. Visit KSLSports.com to sign up for the Jazz Notes newsletter.
So it says here you released from the factory with your top down.
That's right.
You want to speak to that?
Well, I'm a Jeep. I'm a Wrangler. You can't tie me down. Am I a little on the spicy side? Sure. Are kids going to stare at the school pickup? Absolutely. But I helped build this country, doggone it. You ever hear of World War II?
For the best selection on 2025 Jeeps, drop into Doug Smith Jeep in Spanish or American Fork during the Employee Pricing Plus sales event, now through June 30th. No one knows Jeep like Doug.
It all started with a commitment to comfort. Gillette Heating and Air is proud to be Utah County's go-to team for expert HVAC and plumbing solutions. Need a repair, upgrade, or seasonal tune-up? Don't let cost hold you back. With 0% financing available, it's easy to get the work done now and pay later. Plus, save $100 on any repair over $500 and keep your system running strong with a professional tune-up before the heat hits. Visit GilletteHVAC.com or call 385-GET-COOL to book today. Homegrown service pros, financing made simple, comfort made easy.
Carrier, turn to the experts. A Carrier factory authorized dealer.
Black Desert Resort isn't just your home. It's an endless retreat where life is played your way. From intimate studios to spacious 4-bedroom suites. The raw beauty of southern Utah is your new backyard. Discover our championship golf course, exquisite dining, and world-class outdoor adventures, all yours to conquer. This is luxury your way. Learn more about owning a luxury residence at blackdesertresort.com. Come play, come stay.
An Australian hiker travels to the American West to walk a wilderness trail.
Wasn't afraid to be out on his own.
But Eric Robinson vanished in the high Uinta Mountains.
I remember thinking, Eric, what were you thinking, mate?
I'm Dave Cawley. Join me on my podcast, Uinta Triangle, where I travel the world to answer the question, what happened to Eric Robinson? Follow Uinta Triangle. That's UINTA Triangle on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen.
At Tim Daly Mazda Southtown, we understand the value of $1 going further, especially right now. So we're offering up to $10,000 off almost any brand new 2025 Mazda. Yes, up to $10,000 off. Or get 1.9% APR on a 2025 Mazda CX-50.
Yes!
You heard right. Get up to $10K off or 1.9%. Make your dollars go farther at Tim Daly Mazda Southtown today. Financing for up to 36 months OAC. See dealer for complete details. Offer ends soon.
Adventuring in the Wasatch Back this summer? Stop into Dairy King in Heber for one of their famous shakes and check out their huge gluten-free menu. Dairy King on Main Street, home of the trade and best of state shakes.
The KSL Sports Zone and Hercules Credit Union are highlighting people that impact youth sports. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com.
Broadcasting from the Mountain Home Services Studio, this is 97.5 KZNS FM Colbert, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and 102.7 KSL FM HD2 Salt Lake City Midvale. This is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Your home for the best coverage of the Jazz, Utes, and Cougars is right here on the Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jeremiah Jensen, Steven Sylvester, sitting in for Alex Curie. If you're an NBA fan, You Utah Jazz fans, it's going to be a fun week. You got a Game 7 of the NBA Finals on Sunday. What a gift that is. And then the NBA Draft on Wednesday night. Lions season will be over. We're going to find out how it's all going to shake out. And there's so much drama that's being predicted and expected. We're going to get into all that next with Eric Sparopoulos of the Utah Jazz and NBA.com. The finals and the draft are the cut at 5 o'clock.
It's time for the biggest story of the day. This is what made the cut with JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Give Trajan Wealth a call today, your local financial fiduciary, 801-899-7600, or visit their website at trajanwealth.com. And as always, the cut's brought to you by G2G Bars. With all natural ingredients, no preservatives, and plenty of protein, G2G Bars are perfect for anyone who needs a tasty and nutritious boost. We thank G2G Bars for sponsoring JJ and Alex each and every day. We welcome our guest in, Eric Sparopoulos of the Utah Jazz, NBA.com. Does a great job covering the Jazz and the NBA. Eric, we got to start with the NBA Finals because I don't think a lot of people thought that the Pacers had it in them last night, but they did. We get a Game 7. What are your thoughts on what you saw in Game 6? Were you surprised that the Pacers responded the way they did?
I think that the normal answer is to say that you would be surprised, but I don't think with this Pacers team, anything comes as a surprise anymore. Yeah. Especially, with Halliburton getting injured in Game 5, you didn't even know if he was going to be able to play, and if he could play, what would he be able to do? And he actually, I thought, looked pretty good, all things considered. And I think, the Pacers made a couple of adjustments. They weren't picking up full court as much. They put a lot more pressure in the half court. Again, their role players off the bench, like TJ McConnell, they just continue to play really well, especially at home. So we'll see if that carries over to Sunday in Oklahoma City. But the OKC, they just look kind of out of sync pretty early. Shea was turning it over a lot. They weren't hitting threes. And Indiana got out and then took advantage of it. So, with this Pacers team, you can never, ever count them out. And now they've given themselves a chance if they play one really great game to win an NBA championship.
Man, I try to tell people all the time how important the crowd is, right? Both of these environments, both Oklahoma City and Indiana, on TV, it looks insane. What have you heard about how great both of these home crowds have been in the NBA Finals?
Yeah, you mentioned it. Just watching on TV, the amount of times that Mike Breen is saying that he can't hear the whistle when he's commentating the game says it all. But I think that's the best part. One of the best parts about these finals is, these two markets and their fan bases being able to kind of have this moment in the national spotlight and show just how great they are, showing up and making each arena pretty much deafening for everyone involved, including people watching from home. So I think, OKC, you win as many games as you do to set yourself up for the opportunity to have Game 7 at your arena. And so hopefully they're going to try and take advantage of their crowd, which is also, which has been just as incredible, if not better.
When you look around the NBA, you've seen players with calf strains end up with Achilles injuries. Kevin Durant, recently Damian Lillard, Jason Tatum. I didn't think that Tyrese Halliburton was going to run the risk. I actually thought he was going to sit out. I thought they were going to be really cautious and not let him play. What does it say about him that he was willing to take that risk and he went out there last night?
It says everything. I agree with you. I think there's such a high level of risk with that injury in particular that, even, and the other thing is not only was he going to play, but if he went out there and played and just couldn't be himself, what kind of effect would that have on the offense? Because he is kind of that engine. And, like I said, within the first few minutes, he obviously was not 100%, but he made a couple of plays, I think the most important thing was he was still making those types of passes, those kind of, a little bit high-risk passes, those really advanced passes that were allowing the offense to function even if he wasn't at his best. And then he hit a couple of threes in the first half, and that was just kind of enough because the rest of his supporting cast was able to kind of take over and help him. But, I think it just says everything about Tyrese and just, that team, that mentality they have to just never give up and never quit. He is their leader, and he went out there and showed why.
Yeah, man. Could you talk about kind of roster depth and everything going on? JJ and I were talking a little bit earlier about the contributions of Connolly and Nembhard. Like, how important, when you get this late in the season, in the finals, it really comes to light these complete teams, right? And so both from Oklahoma City and Indiana, how complete are these teams? How important are these role players in stepping up in these big moments?
I mean, massive. I think, the conversation for, basically even in these playoffs in the past few years has always been about like, oh, well, you're going to have to shorten your rotation anyways in the playoffs. So like, make sure you have your best 7 guys ready and go. And I think these two teams are showing that that's not necessarily the case. I mean, I think the Pacers, one of the huge advantages they had in their run to the finals in the East was just having more depth and being able to kind of outlast their opponents because they play so hard, they play so fast, that they've got so many guys to be able to play that system without, everyone having to play 40-plus minutes and being worn out. And OKC, I think the big talking point with them all season is that their team is so complete from a defensive perspective that they really don't put anyone out there on the floor that's like a defensive liability for the most part. Shea is probably their worst defender in their starting lineup, and he's pretty good for, for an MVP player.
They're historically good at defense.
Exactly, and that's because they don't really have any weaknesses, and that goes 10, 11 deep. And so I think that's what you're seeing is that depth, I think might have been underrated coming into these playoffs, and I think maybe moving forward, teams might look, especially with the new CBA and the financial restrictions on, big salaries, teams might be looking extra hard at like, how can we get a really good 10 or even 11-man rotation versus just a 7-man rotation?
We don't get Game 7 very often in the NBA Finals. In fact, I think this is the 8th time. Oh, sorry, let me see.
Yeah.
In the last 50 years. Oh, this will be the 9th. I'm sorry, the 9th. So this is rare. This is a rare opportunity. The Nuggets pushed the Thunder to 7 in the semifinals, and the Thunder ended up blowing them out on their home court. How is this going to be different, or is it going to be different?
I think it'll be different. I mean, pretty much all Game 7s have been close from my recollection. And I think the other thing is, we just kind of talked, that Nuggets team was very top-heavy, right? Like that was Nikola Jokic, Aaron Gordon playing with a strained hamstring somehow, Jamal Murray and a couple other guys, but they didn't have the depth that this Indiana team does. And also I just think that this Indiana team is another level of just like grit, toughness, never give up, playing hard, playing fast. Like the Pacers style of play could cause a problem for a team on any night, even in a series like this where Oklahoma City's obviously, well adjusted and scouted them. But the Pacers can catch fire from deep. They can run you off the floor. They can play good defense. Like I think it'll be different because this Pacers team is just much deeper and plays a different style than the Nuggets do.
Well, it is Game 7 on Sunday, so before the weekend starts, let's hear it. What are your anticipations of how that game flow is going to go? Earlier, I was talking about how important those those middle quarters are. Right? Is this a Game 7 that could possibly have an overtime? That's what I dream of. I dream of a Game 7 going into overtime. Right? And does this have the capability? What are you expecting, and what do you think the ultimate outcome of this Game 7 on Sunday is going to be?
I do expect a close game. I think overtime would be amazing. I'm not sure we're going to get it, but I do think it'll be close. And, I think as much as I kind of want to just like lean fully in on this Pacers run, I do feel the home court advantage for the Thunder has been really significant in the series so far. I mean, you've seen a pretty stark contrast into how the Thunder have done on the road versus at home in the playoffs. And it's carried over to this series. And, some of the Pacers role players like a TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, like they haven't been as good, I think, in OKC or on the road than they have been at home. So I do think that could be a factor. Like if the Pacers go to their bench and they can't either maintain an advantage or create an advantage, what does that do? And there's also a potential for Tyrese to, feel worse actually on Sunday with the injury after might swell up playing on it than he did last night. So I think I'm going to go with OKC in a close win for the championship.
Let's turn our attention now to the Utah Jazz. The NBA draft is on Wednesday, Eric. It's one of our favorite times of the year. It's so much fun. We love the draft. And I also love everything else that's going on around it with all the buzz about trades that could happen and all the transactions that could take place between now and then. But I'll start with the draft. One of the biggest stories right now, I think, is Ace Bailey. And if he falls, obviously that would impact the Utah Jazz in some way, whether they have to decide to take him or not. What do you make of the stories coming out about Ace Bailey? How much of it is real and how much of it is being manipulated by those who release information, as we usually see? Of course, it's lying season.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest thing is that, there probably is a lot of truth to some of this, but also, certain teams want certain things out there to have them fall to them. Like I'm sure the Nets would love Ace Bailey to fall to 8 and, they would draft him to take that risk. And I'm sure there's plenty of other teams that might even think about if he falls past a certain number, do they trade up for him? Things like that. I think there's also probably, some legitimacy to, his camp trying to get him in a place where he can play a ton of minutes, have the ball in his hands, and put up stats basically from day one. I think, it is interesting, right? If he does fall to 5 to the Jazz, do they take the bet on his upside talent? Do they try and use that as leverage to get someone to trade up for him? I think, the draft really does start at 3 with the Sixers, in my opinion, and where Ace falls is one of the hottest storylines.
Is Ace Bailey good enough for there to be this much drama? What is it about Ace Bailey that you think is so fascinating, and how good of a prospect is he?
Yeah, I mean, he is a fascinating prospect because on the high end, if you're like trying to be super optimistic, you're looking at a guy who's 6'8", 6'9", who can just hit the hardest shots possible, right? If you imagine in a playoff game, you need a bucket, at the end of the game, you're throwing it to a 6'9" guy who can create that shot and hit it over a defender pretty much regardless of size. That is the potential for him. With, I think, the underrated aspect of his game being that he was actually pretty impactful defensively, when he was locked in. With his size and his athleticism at that size, he can be a pretty impactful defender too. Obviously, there's a lot of risk in terms of his shot selection. He doesn't have much of a handle. He's not playmaking for others. I think there's the range on his upside versus his ceiling versus his floor, I think is what is causing so much conversation. And also, I think a little bit of it is anchoring to, he was a top 3, maybe top 2 prospect coming into the college season, for the past year. And so a lot of that, that kind of stigma might be staying with him in terms of people saying, well, how could he fall out of the top 5? He was this great prospect coming into the season.
Well, I mean, so you hit on the Jazz, possibly, say Ace drops a couple. His versatility is absolutely electric. I see teams actually trading up to possibly be in the market.
There's a lot of rumors of that too.
Right, and so you kind of hinted at that with the Jazz possibly leveraging their position and trading a couple to get more assets. So, being the Jazz guy here, what are the Jazz going to do here? What are they looking for? If you have the opportunity to get an Ace Bailey, okay, do we jump at that? Do you leverage that and get more opportunity to get other players, as we talked about just now, as you talked about with CBA, cap room, looking for a more full roster of capabilities? What is the Jazz move here? We do need an ace player. I think we need that. I keep saying we. The Jazz need that.
Lakers fans said Jazz or we. I love it.
Alex, if you cut that, I will cut you.
That's right up there with the excitement he has for BYU basketball, the promise.
But, what are the Jazz going to do here in this situation? Or not what they're going to do, because we don't know. We're not Danny Ainge. But, what should they do here in this situation? Say they do have the opportunity to get an ace. What are they going to do here in this situation to improve what they've been doing the last couple of years so Utah fans aren't subjected to these terrible seasons?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously that's the golden question. I think, from my perspective, and this is only my perspective, if Ace Bailey is available and obviously Austin Ainge, Danny, the front office has way more intel than we do. But if you have good enough intel and you believe in your foundation as an organization, top to bottom, to draft a guy like Ace and maybe, fight through some of the early struggles as he's adapting his game and growing his game. I think if he falls to 5, I would take the swing personally on the talent, just on the talent alone. I think there's a scenario where, I think it's not, super uncommon for people to actually view some of the other prospects in that range as higher prospects than Ace Bailey. I know there's certain people who love VJ Edgecombe. A lot of analysts, and a lot of Jazz fans, I think, on Twitter really love Trey Johnson, Con Knippel. These are guys that the Jazz might evaluate as better prospects in their opinion. in which case how the board falls, unfolds going up to 5 will dictate a lot of it. But then again, when you're looking at who's available versus where you're picking, and if you think someone else is a better prospect that might be available later on, that's when the trade scenarios might come into play. But, with the question of Ace, I think if he's there at 5 and you have good enough intel and good enough belief in what you've got going on as an organization, I think it's worth the swing at 5. I wouldn't necessarily say that at 3, depending on the team. Obviously, Philly's in kind of a win-now mode. But for the Jazz, I think, the swing at 5 does make more sense.
Of course, unless the Jazz make a move, they're going to pick at 5, and they have to really depend on what the Sixers and the Hornets decide to do. But you look at a lot of mock drafts for what that's worth. Trey Johnson seems to be that name that lands with the Jazz the most in these scenarios. What can you tell us about Trey Johnson, and why would he be a good fit with the Jazz?
I mean, the number one thing to talk about with Trey Johnson is the three-point shooting. I think given his combination of off the catch and off the dribble three-point shooting, he is probably the best shooter in the draft, at least, our first-round prospects. I think Con Knippel is probably a better catch and shoot, maybe traditional shooter, but Trey Johnson can shoot off the dribble at an elite rate. And I think when you look at that skill set, one being a bankable thing that can keep you in the league for a long time, but also for a Jazz team like Will Hardy, they run a lot of off-ball actions to get three-pointers. They take a lot of three-pointers. If you have a guy who can come in and shoot 40% from 3 on his shot diet, which sometimes includes some tough shots, and he's not afraid of the moment either as a tough shot maker, that's where the appeal starts with. There's other aspects of him. I think his playmaking is underrated. It's not like his number one skill set by any means on the offensive end, but he can make some reads and some good passes. And there's a little bit potentially more upside with him, I think, because he does have pretty good athletic tools. He's a good wingspan. He had a good vertical. He's 6'6". There's some size there. So if he gets stronger and fills out his frame and can get downhill a little bit more, he's not necessarily a downhill driver as an offensive player. He's more perimeter oriented. I think that's where you talk about Trey Johnson as a guy at 5 with a lot of exciting offensive potential.
Is Con Knippel and Jeremiah Fears really in play for the Jazz at number 5?
I think so. I think Con Knippel is interesting because, the analytics love him. He kind of does a little bit of everything outside of his shooting. He can play make a little bit. He's not a plus defender, but I don't think he's really as bad as people think he is. I think there is a lot of kind of subjecting him to, he's just this white guy who's a little bit slow and unathletic, so he's terrible on defense. I don't think that's the case, really. But there obviously are questions of, not only his upside as a player, but also his situation at Duke was really good, right? He's playing next to Cooper Flagg. They have Kaman Malawach, at center, who's also a projected top 10 pick. There was an environment for him to thrive. But again, he's an elite shooter who can do more than that on the offensive end. So I think when you look at the skill set and what he's produced so far, you have to consider him. And Fears is very interesting because he's kind of the opposite, where he can't shoot threes right now. He was under 30% this year, but he's almost the opposite of Trey Johnson. He just gets downhill. He has a great handle. He can definitely pass, and he can he can create an advantage on offense. Now he needs to be able to shoot the 3, right? The Jazz fans are familiar with, Isaiah Collier, getting downhill, but not necessarily being able to shoot threes. And he has question marks because he's small. He's a 6'2" guard. Question marks on the defensive end. So I think all these prospects, you're looking at key strengths and key weaknesses, and you have to kind of filter through to see what, you value the most.
That was a great breakdown of the draft, which is coming up on Wednesday. We're excited for it. Jazz fans are excited for it. Can't wait to see what they decide to do between now and Wednesday. Eric Spiropoulos covers the Utah Jazz for NBA.com. Eric, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Always great having you on. We'll do it again soon.
Thanks for having me.
Eric Spiropoulos. Good breakdown of everything going on with the Jazz, with the draft. Those are some of the names. Yeah, a lot of things could happen, though, between now and Wednesday. There's a lot of, I don't know what's going on with the league right now, and it may end up being nothing. It usually ends up being a nothing burger, but there's a lot of buzz around the league, Sly, that trades are going to happen. There's going to be a lot of movement because teams are strapped for cash. There's no free agents out there, and the only way to get better is through trades. So I think you're going to see a lot of fireworks between now and Wednesday. We already saw Desmond Bane move in a blockbuster deal from Memphis to Orlando. So I think there's going to be even more coming up here in the next few days. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, it's the NFL Blitz. We're going to take a look at the 2026 NFL Draft, and some local guys are mentioned as prospects at each position. We will get to that next. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
And now, a look at traffic from the KSL Traffic Center.
Big delays on I-80 now between Saltaire and the 201 exit because of a fire just south of the freeway. The slowdowns are both eastbound and westbound through the area. Southbound I-15 in Utah County is turning into a slow hassle for folks trying to get home. Heavy delays between Lehigh's Main Street and the Pleasant Grove Boulevard exit. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialist. Whipple that away with your traffic update. I'm Alex Napolis here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Joined now by Brandon Huffman, National Recruiting Editor for 24/7 Sports. Ryder Lyons, a 5-star quarterback. What do you think of Ryder, and what do you think the odds are he ends up in Provo?
I've said for 2 years that I think he's the best quarterback in the country. I know he's a top 5 quarterback nationally. He's the number 1 player in California. For my money, I will take him as the best quarterback, and this is big. I have maintained for a while it was a BYU-Oregon battle, and I have said do not discount BYU's efforts with him. And now they get their shot. They get the last visit. This could end up being the single most significant recruit Kalani Sitake has ever gotten in his 10 years at BYU. So all eyes are on Provo, not just with BYU fans, but I would say college football fans in general are tracking this one.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Selling or buying a home, you're losing a lot of money if you're not using the Bank Buster loan. This is Rod with the Sabright Realtor team at Realty Path. Nothing compares to the Bank Buster loan. Home sellers, you get a quicker sell and a higher net price. How? The buyer of your home gets a rate as low as 4.75% with a payment that saves them hundreds every month. The ultra-low Bank Buster rate is not a seller concession that comes out of your pocket. It's all thanks to our affiliate lender, Sabright Mortgage, and their Bank Buster loan. Hire the Sabright Realtors when you sell or buy a home, and you automatically get a preferred lender and a Bank Buster loan. Buyers, you can start with a rate in the ones. Don't lose tens of thousands of your hard-earned money. Sell and buy your home with a Bank Buster loan. Call 801-APPROVE or visit sabright.com.
Have you dreamed of a home golf simulator but worry you just don't have the space? Fairway Hideaway brings that dream to life with the Murphy Golf Simulator. This sleek fold-away closet system transforms any garage, basement, or office into playing Augusta, Pebble Beach, or hundreds of other famous courses around the world. Once you're done, simply push a button and it folds away into a 2-foot closet system that any house designer would be proud of. If you decide to put it in your garage, you still have space to park your cars. From Park City Chalets to Salt Lake Townhomes, Murphy Golf Simulators blend seamlessly into your space with no renovation required. Zone listeners will save $1,000 off their Murphy Golf Simulator by getting your installation scheduled before end of summer. Play iconic courses, perfect your swing, or host your next golf night, all from the comfort of home. Then use a remote control and watch it fold away. Learn more at fairwayhideaway.com. That's fairwayhideaway.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
It all started with a commitment to comfort. Gillette Heating and Air is proud to be Utah County's go-to team for expert HVAC and plumbing solutions. Need a repair, upgrade, or seasonal tune-up? Don't let cost hold you back. With 0% financing available, it's easy to get the work done now and pay later. Plus, save $100 on any repair over $500 and keep your system running strong with a professional tune-up before the heat hits. Visit GilletteHVAC.com or call 385-GET-COOL to book today. Homegrown service pros, financing made simple, comfort made easy.
Carrier. Turn to the experts. A Carrier factory authorized dealer.
Here at the Almond Joy Factory, where tropical vibes abound, we use soft, fresh-tasting coconut.
The crunchiest almonds and delicious chocolate candy.
Ah, but do you know what our most important ingredient is? Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
Almond Joy's got nuts and something even way better than that. Yes, Almond Joy is made with almonds and joy.
Oh, tasty high note. Oh, hi, don't mind me. I'm practicing my new baritone sax. I just heard PayPal's paying for people's stuff every day for 100 days, and there's 10 million up for grabs. All you have to do is use PayPal checkout online. So there's never been a better time to buy a few things off the old wish list. Like this leaf blower! PayPal could pay for your purchase. The Great PayPal Checkout.
No purchase necessary ends July 18th. See official rules at paypal.com/thegreatpaypalcheckout/terms. Participating merchants only must use PayPal Checkout online. Coverage of up to $100 and eligible purchases per card.
If you've ever had to deal with a plumbing problem, you may have felt the pain of realizing you don't know any plumbers. Whether you're trying to stop a leaky faucet, fix a running toilet, replace your old water softener, or install a tankless water heater, the plumbers at Any Hour Services can help. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. Help with plumbing maintenance and repairs is closer than you think. Call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
So you're a Forester? Yep. Seemed like a good car. Describe your dream job.
Work stinks, but I love commuting.
Lease a new 2025 Subaru Forester at Doug Smith Subaru for only $298 per month. MSRP $31,850. 36-month lease, 10,000 miles per year. $3,199 due at signing. No security deposit required. JF2 SLDA C8 SH5 30755 OAC. Valid through June 30th, 2025. No one knows Subaru like Doug.
Are you ready for the ultimate baseball experience? Introducing the Cage Baseball, Utah's first high-tech entertainment-based batting cage. Just the fun parts of baseball. Whether you're a rookie or all-star baseball player, everyone can experience the thrill of hitting a home run. Swing away with friends, families, co-workers, maybe even a date night. The Cage Baseball, just off Redwood Road around the corner from the Maverick Center. Use code THEZONE for 10% off your 1-hour session. Step up to the plate at the Cage Baseball. The KSL Sports Zone and Hercules Credit Union are highlighting people that impact youth sports. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Hercules Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com.
All the latest news and notes from the league and the locals in the NFL. JJ and Alex bring you the NFL Blitz on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Here's the NFL Blitz begins right now. But first, let me say this. Do you have a product that you're passionate about? Do you own a business and you want more people to know about it? Are you looking to break through, get more clients, sell more products? We're here to help you do that. We would love to endorse your product or your business on our show. It's simple. All you have to do is text JJ to 57500, and our sales staff will take care of the rest. Again, text JJ to 57500. You can ask Doug Smith Mitsubishi, IBEW, Salt Lake City Fat Loss. All of our partners have benefited tremendously from reaching you, the viewers, on the show. If you own a business, if you have a product, you can join the club, and you're going to benefit in a big way. We're going to help you make money. So join us again. Text JJ to 57500. It's JJ to 57500. All right, let's get to the NFL Blitz. The NFL draft in 2026 It's never too early to talk NFL draft. Maybe it's a little early. But we're going to do it. Why? Because there's some local prospects on this list that ESPN.com has put out. So some writers at ESPN.com ranked the top 5 prospects at every position in college football according to their draft position potential. And as you're rolling through a lot of the usual suspects at different positions. But as I'm scrolling through and I get down to offensive line, offensive tackle specifically, boom, Sly, Utah is mentioned not once, but twice, because Utah has 2 of the top 5 offensive tackles in the nation. At number 4 on one list is Spencer Fano. At number 5 is Caleb Lomu. Another writer has Spencer Fano as the number 1 offensive tackle NFL prospect in the country. Surprised by that?
No. Spencer's just so athletic. I think he can play so many different positions. We covered him in high school. And, he played offense until the state championship game. He went and played defense. And I'm like, why is he not playing defense? Spencer Fano is so athletic. He could play tight end. Here in this offense.
He caught a pass on a 2-point conversion, right?
But just that, he has the body to be so athletic. And more or less, I've seen guys like that in the NFL that's so athletic. They came from the tight end position and converted over to the tackle position. He's going to be a tackle his entire life and be that athletic. He's big, he's fast, he's smart. He can play all styles of offense, from downhill running to get out and run, the big dancing bear style. Absolutely love that guy. I actually didn't notice him, or maybe I forgot he cut his hair in the spring game, and I go in the interview and I'm just like, who the hell are they bringing me right now? I was like, oh, it's bald Spencer. Anyways, it's the dude is just awesome. Him being on this list is tremendous, and it shows, investing in recruitment. And he was one of the highly recruited guys in the country his senior year in Utah. Doing what it needed to do to get Logan and him here was huge, and I just hope that pays off here this next year or two for Utah.
Caleb Lomu, he's overshadowed a little bit by what Spencer's done,
right?
But Caleb's on this list too at number 5 on one list and 4 on the other. Top 5 offensive tackle.
Yeah.
He has first-round potential as well.
Well, yeah, aggressive. We understand how important these offensive line positions are, just as much as these athletic and quarterback positions, to have a versatile offensive lineman. And when you look at Caleb, you look at young aggression, right? And now that he's got another year under Harding, he gets to harness that aggression and understand how to utilize it, how to be under control as an offensive lineman. As an alumni, any alumni offensive lineman have to be proud of having 2 potential first-round offensive linemen here at the University of Utah.
Moving on down a list, we get to defensive tackle, and another name of local interest pops up. It's Keanu Tanavasa. One of the writers has him as number 3 on their top 5 list. You know Keanu well and watched him play. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on his potential as an NFL defensive tackle?
I got to look at all these other guys on this list, but Keanu's great. When he plays, he's dominant. Yeah. There's not many people that can hold. I've been around a lot of defensive tackles who've had great potential and helped me out as linebackers. They eat up these blockers so I can fly free. Those are the best D linemen you want, and Keanu's one of those guys. Keanu gets it done, man. He's going to a good system down there with Jay Hill and Gary Anderson and Kalani Sataki, and I think he's going to have a tremendous here at BYU. Of course, you got to make sure he stays healthy and be able to contribute on the field. But when he's on the field, you're going to get you a baller.
No doubt, he's proven, and that's a big pickup for BYU in the offseason and a big loss for Utah. Down at safety, shocker, a Utah safety with NFL potential. Morgan Scally, you've done it again. Teo Johnson, ranked as the 5th best safety with as an NFL prospect by one of the writers. Your thoughts on Teo? I know that they liked him when they found him and recruited him. And now he's developed into a player that's going to get NFL attention this season. What kind of season do you expect from Teo Johnson?
I expect it all. I think he's going to have a tremendous season. I think he's going to be first-team all-conference, team captain.
Wow.
I just think he's ready and primed for that. He was primed and ready when he was a freshman, man. Just talking to him, understanding his journey from being an offensive guy, quarterback, to transitioning to the nickel position. And you know that nickel position is one of the hardest positions on the football field. And he just thrived at that. You know, when we had Sione Baki and Cole Bishop back there, and he was just as effective as those guys. And now he's going to have another year at the safety position under his belt. You know, they had a very struggle-filled year last year, so he's had that ups and downs and being able to understand where this defense can be when you struggle, when you have a struggling offense, or where this defense can be when you have an outstanding offense. And so I'm expecting big things out of him this year. I think it's going to be tremendous, definitely worthy of being on this list. He's not afraid to tackle anybody, big, small, whatever. He'll throw his face in there and make it happen. And you've seen how athletic he is, from returning blocked field goals to returning interceptions, getting sideline to sideline. He is definitely worth the praise, and I can't wait to see what he's able to do this year.
So some good news there for some local NFL prospects. We'll see how they play this season. Real quick, one more. We got to get to Shedeur Sanders. Apparently he's got a lead foot. Twice cited for speeding this month. Big deal or not?
I mean, I was listening to a couple things this week about it, and a lot of people are making more a big deal. I kind of read the headline, and I'm like, why is this a headline?
Because it's Shedeur Sanders.
Exactly. And so,
Look,
no, it's not a big deal for me.
101's not great.
Well, do you know, I mean, I've driven one.
How
do you
many
know
of
how
us,
many guys?
when we were stupid kids, hit 101?
You stupid kids? There's grown adults. I bet you Tyreek Hill drives 130 every day.
Yeah.
Hey, look, personally, I've been to Miami, as I told you.
Yes.
Absolutely love it. With some friends. Stuff. I've driven 135, 140 on the freeway. I'm letting you guys know this. Don't do it.
The statute of limitations up on.
Yeah, it's definitely
on
up. It was about 10 years ago.
Did he hit the dump button for his own sake?
It was about 10 years ago. It's definitely gone. But
sure.
I'm just saying, people, they've done that. I know it's unsafe. I know it's this and that. But for it to be a headline like this, it's got to be because it's Shedeur. And he's going to learn from it. Give him his ticket and move on. You act like nobody's got a speeding ticket before. Come on, man. Like I get it. I'm not going to put as much stuff as that guy has to deal with as far as pressure, as far as questioning, 5th round draft pick, whatever he has to do. You guys going to freaking blow up our airways over a speeding ticket?
You know what I'm going to say? Like,
people here's my problem. People try to do the Henry Ruggs comparison. Henry Ruggs was drunk.
There was alcohol involved in
He was drunk from a club at 2 a.m. That is very different than what Shedeur's doing.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah,
not a good comparison.
Night and day difference. Come on now. What I think Shedeur's actually handled all this really well. And he's a lightning rod. He's Coach Prime's son, all that stuff. I get it. And they've chose to be a little bombastic, and they like to puff up their chests, but they have a lot of confidence, and good for them.
Right.
Don't we all wish we had a lot of confidence? But I will say that he has handled this whole situation since then really well. He didn't ask to be put under a microscope the way he has been,
right?
But he's handled it pretty well outside of hitting 101 and getting cited for speeding.
Right.
If that's the worst thing Shedeur Sanders ever does while he's playing in the NFL, whoopity do, right? For all I could tell, other than being a rich kid, right? Which he is, let's be honest.
Right.
And you can get a little arrogant and stuff with that.
Right. He's not the first person.
He doesn't have like these character issues that that people want to project or say.
Right.
I think he's going to do well in the NFL. I think he's going to surprise some people and actually the falling in the draft thing is going to be a blessing in disguise for him because it's taking a lot of pressure off of him. A lot of pressure. If he would have been the number 2 overall pick in the draft, I don't think he would have been successful in the NFL. I really don't believe you. Or believe that he would have been successful. You're now taking in the 5th round to the Cleveland Browns. Like, there's no pressure on him.
Right.
And he's going to a place where they desperately need a quarterback.
Right.
And now he's got time to develop into that quarterback.
Right.
We talk about it's not when you're drafted, but where you're drafted.
Right.
I know Cleveland sucks, but I think he got in the best position he possibly could be in considering the circumstances.
Well, he's surrounded in a good quarterback circle, a good quarterback position room, and all I got to say is, can they have a good quarterback guy come there and help teach him, right? If say he had a Brian Johnson type of quarterback mentor these next 2 years to be able to make sure that he understands the game, understands how to prepare, understands all of this, I think he would be great. As I said, like, I thought he had second to third round grade potential for me.
Sure.
But for him to drop to the 5th, whoever's getting him at that point, I think the Steelers missed on getting him in the 4th and even trading up in the 5th to get him. As soon as he got drafted, then you go draft the Ohio State guy?
He's not anywhere close to as talented as Shedeur Sanders.
Right after that?
And you're paying that guy not as much. I mean, the amount of money you're paying between the two is minimal.
If you know business, you go get Shedeur.
100%.
For marketability.
They didn't want the Sanders circus. That's all. They didn't want it.
But here's the thing. The Steelers can control
But they want
all
the Aaron
that.
Rodgers circus?
Exactly. Say it. Say it again for the guy in the back who missed it.
The Steelers didn't want the Sanders circus, but they're okay with the Aaron Rodgers circus.
All right, mister. I can't listen to Bluetooth headphones. I can only do wired headphones. Yeah, all right. That's more of a headline than speeding. Anyway.
Yeah.
I digress.
Not sure what the Steelers are doing, and you or yourself are a Steeler, so nobody knows better than you. So that is your NFL Blitz on this Friday. Great stuff. We got to take a break. When we come back, best and worst next. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Athletics are funny that way. I've always said this. Not only does it attract people from all sorts of different backgrounds, but all sorts of different intelligence levels, different emotionally intelligence levels, like all those things. Like, I don't know how coaches do it, honestly.
This is going to sound mean because it's certainly not the case. There are legitimate savants, can think everything with the game, and then aren't super intelligent off the floor and struggle off the floor. And that's quite common.
It's so applicable, though, to life. I mean, Elton John just sat down and played the piano. I think in person you can really tell the difference between not intelligent and maybe just public speaking isn't my first way of communicating. But then you can see people as just like, okay, this dude's just a dim bulb. And as a dim bulb myself, I feel like we can really sniff out each other. You know what I mean?
Spider sense tingles when you get around each other.
This guy's faking it just like me.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Salt Lake City Fat Loss, slcfatloss.com. Go check out their website. Learn more about this program. If you're out there listening and you're sick and tired of being overweight like I was a little over a year ago, and you want to do something about it and you're ready to make a change, but you need some kind of help, you need some kind of program, you need some kind of support, consider Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It was exactly that for me. No pills, no injections, no prepackaged meals, no crazy workout plans. Just you dropping weight, eating healthy food, getting in a caloric deficit without being hungry. It's the best way I've found to lose weight and to lose it fast. I lost 40 pounds in 60 days. I didn't think that was possible in a healthy way. It absolutely was. I felt great when I was done with that. And then I've been able to keep that weight off as well. It works great because you're going to be taught how to lose weight. You're going to gain so much knowledge that's going to stick with you for the rest of your life. You're going to receive a plan each and every day. So you're going to know exactly what you need to do on that day. No guesswork. You're going to be held accountable. You have to report everything you eat every day and measurements, everything like that. Your weight, you're going to be reporting it every day. You're going to be held accountable, which is great for you to stay on track. And then they're going to support you throughout the entire process. If you need to talk to somebody, you need any help, you need any questions, they're there all the time through the app. It's great. It's going to help you reach your weight loss goals. So give it a try. Go to their website right now, slcfatloss.com. If you're serious about losing weight, but you need a program to do it, this is a great program for you. It worked for me. It worked for Alex Curie. It's worked for a lot of people that listen to this show. Go give it a shot, slcfatloss.com.
Have you seen those turtle billboards up and down I-15? Well, it's just a fun way to get you to visit anyhour.com to learn about our coolest summer sweepstakes. Every week this summer, AnyHour is giving away an air conditioner to one lucky customer. When you get an estimate to replace your air conditioner or purchase a new air conditioner from AnyHour Services, you're automatically entered into our weekly drawing. If your name is drawn, AnyHour will pay for your air conditioner up to $8,750. No purchase is necessary. See official rules at anyhour.com.
This 4th of July, celebrate red, white, and wow at Monster Jam World Finals, the biggest family event of the year. The most trucks and all the best drivers in one place. And the biggest festival-style pit party of the year, all included with your ticket. Monster Jam World Finals. First time in Salt Lake City, July 4th and 5th. Rice-Eccles Stadium. Brought to you by the Utah Sports Commission and BKD Tires.
Hey, you got a second? That's all it takes to use your fire sense. Like the second you notice the campfire isn't completely cold, your fire sense says to douse it again. Or the second you notice your tires look worn out, your fire sense says to get them changed. Or even the second you think you might be towing more than your truck can handle, your fire sense says to make another trip. It only takes a second to use your fire sense. Protect your property, the land, and our great state. Use your fire sense. Learn more at utahfiresense.org.
For most people, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. That's why Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with One Plus. You heard it right. It's 1% down on a home with One Plus from Rocket Mortgage. You put down 1%, Rocket covers an additional 2%, and you're off to the races. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to see how you can get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, Equal Housing Lender, licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
91 years of rodeo fun with the 2025 Ute Stampede Rodeo and Extreme Bulls in Nephi, Utah. Happening July 9th through the 12th at 8 p.m. nightly at the Juab County Fairgrounds. It's going to be a wild Wednesday, July 9th, as the best bull riders in the PRCA go head-to-head with the best bulls in pro rodeo. July 10th through the 12th, it's PRCA Rodeo with all the events you love. Family entertainment from Flying U Rodeo Company, NFR Roman Rider Dusty Dickerson, Trick Roper Tomas Garcilazo. Get your tickets now at UteStampedeRodeo.com.
I hear you, Mom. You think underage drinking is wrong.
Opening a seafood restaurant that only sells ice cream is wrong.
I guess I'll have the shrimp tracks?
1 shrimp tracks. Watch out for the birds.
Wait, the what?
Underage drinking? That's very wrong. It can harm your brain and your decision making.
When your kids understand underage drinking isn't just wrong, it's very wrong, 9 out of 10 don't drink. Learn more at parentsempowered.org.
The Garden Restaurant is reimagined space with exceptional taste. Opening June 30th in Salt Lake City. Enjoy a fresh, healthy menu, dine in, grab and go, patio seating, or online ordering. Open weekdays 11 to 3. Fresh flavors, iconic location. The Garden Restaurant, next to Temple Square.
Wrapping up the hour with our picks for the best and worst moments on today's show. As JJ and Alex want to hear your best and worst of the day.
Drove to the pad and hit the showers. Didn't even get no static from the cowards. Cause just yesterday, them booze tried to blast me. Saw the police.
Welcome back, JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for Best and Worst. It's brought to you by Doug Smith Dealership. Our friends at Doug Smith, Dodge, Ram, Chevrolet, Subaru, Kia, and Linden. And now my favorite dealership, Mitsubishi and American Fork. Let's start with the worst. Kevin Durant refutes DeMarcus Cousins' allegations of locker room fistfights during the Suns' disappointing season. I feel like if something like that happened, it'd be pretty hard to bottle that up, right?
Yeah.
What's DeMarcus Cousins doing?
About? No, what are you talking about? People have fist fights all the time. People don't know about it.
You think it's possible that the Suns had fist fights in their locker room?
I'm actually more surprised that
How would that knock it out?
Because it's locker room. That happens all the time.
Professional NBA players getting in fist fights in their locker room?
I'm sure it's not as rough as the NFL players, but
look, I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying, like, wouldn't word leak out about that?
No. You know how many fist fights we had?
In 2025?
Yeah. It's all internal. The only reason that people knew about fist fights for us in football is because we had open training camps. Where
you were in the heat of the moment on a football field.
Hey, basketball gets heated too.
That's all for sure.
You ain't seen these old guys on the court get angry?
I mean, we all know about Draymond Green and Jordan Poole.
Right. But they had recordings. If it's in the locker room,
and that was leaked.
Nobody's having cameras in the locker room. Hey, that is not a far-fetched thing. And it happens all the time. The problem is DeMarcus Cousins trying to act like that's first of all, I'm pretty sure he was in tons of fist fight stuff. But to act like that's a rarity and that's a key issue behind whatever happened with the Suns is what's more surprising to me. But fist fights happen all the time. Grown men, come on.
It would have been amazing if it had, but Katie said it never happened. So
of course he's going to say that. I'm glad he didn't say that.
I guess we move on. Best. How about the Cubs welcoming back Sammy Sosa after a 20-year absence at Wrigley Field? He's set to be inducted into the Cubs Hall of Fame this year. I know it's been weird with Sammy throughout baseball, right? How do you process and handle how amazing that home run thing was, but then learning the truth about it all and having to process it? I think it's taken some time, but I'm glad to see that Sammy's back at. I think that we have to reevaluate how we look at that era. Look, were they cheating? If you want to call it that, sure. So what? You don't think there was cheating in 1935 and 1955 and 1975 in Major League Baseball? Why are we judging that era of baseball players differently because they were juicing?
They learned it from somewhere.
They played the game. It happened.
Right.
Their records happened. Their stats happened. You're just going to sweep it under the rug and pretend it didn't exist?
What's funny is there's a comedian who said something like that, where it's like, yeah, they were juicing. Who cares?
We were entertained, weren't we?
Exactly. It's like, how much fun did we have seeing Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Barry just jacking these balls up every weekend? That was good baseball. That's probably when the ratings were highest for MLB.
That felt like the apex of baseball, and it's been downhill ever since as far as interest and growth.
I mean, if that's the case, the guy was just like, why don't we just create a league where it's known, it's good, and we could just do that?
Like the All-Steroid Olympics. Remember that on Saturday Night Live?
Yes.
The guy who goes to he goes to deadlift and his arms come completely off. Is that what we're going to get to? All-Steroid baseball. Let's do it.
You want to do it. This is where it's at.
Okay. Welcome back, Sammy. All right, that's a wrap for this segment. We got more coming up next. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Want to get the latest info on Utah's newest sports franchise? Sign up for the Utah Mammoth newsletter. Get exclusive analysis, plus the latest news and notes on the Utah Mammoth. Sign up today at KSLSports.com for the Utah Mammoth newsletter. Hockey fans, let your voice be heard with the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum. Visit the Utah Mammoth page on KSLSports.com to connect with the team, other fans, and our KSL Sports insiders. Start chatting today in the Utah Mammoth Fan Forum on KSLSports.com.
Helping your money do more means putting yourself in the financial driver's seat.
Oh, yeah.
And there's no better or more literal way to do that than with a low-rate auto loan from America First Credit Union. Plus, for a limited time, when you finance your new vehicle with America First, you'll enjoy no payments for 90 days. And that means getting more mileage out of every cent you spend. So make your money move. Head to AmericaFirst.com to apply for pre-approval of your low-rate auto loan today. Eligibility, terms, conditions, and creditworthiness apply. Subject to change. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal opportunity lender.
Are you ready for the ultimate baseball experience? Introducing the Cage Baseball, Utah's first high-tech entertainment-based batting cage. Just the fun parts of baseball. Whether you're a rookie or all-star baseball player, everyone can experience the thrill of hitting a home run. Swing away with friends, families, coworkers, maybe even a date night. The Cage Baseball, just off Redwood Road around the corner from the Maverick Center. Use code THEZONE for 10% off your 1-hour session. Step up to the plate at the Cage Baseball. Don't miss out on Jazz Youth Camps and Clinics. Brought to you by PB Fit. Camps are for ages 4 to 17 and include various skill level options. Let's go! Whether you're a beginner trying to learn the basics or a seasoned player wanting to fine-tune your skills, there's a camp for you. Learn from Utah Jazz Camp coaching staff and Jazz personalities at select camps in multiple locations. Year-round on weekdays or weekends. Sign up and receive a reversible jersey, Jazz ticket vouchers, and a membership to Utah Jazz Shoot 360. Go to jazzyouth.com and register today.
DJ PK and John from J. Brooks Jewelers. John, whenever someone loses a parent or a grandparent, it's difficult. Things get passed down inside the family. But if someone doesn't want a watch or a piece of jewelry, what's the next best step?
At J. Brooks Jewelers, we're happy to help you sort through such a collection of things to help you know what is real and what has value. Of course, repurposing the items for the family is always the best solution, but if no one loves or wants the piece, The estate experts at J. Brooks Jewelers can help guide you on the best way to handle the liquidation and, of course, in complete confidentiality. We have buyers all over the country that we've established to get the largest return possible for your jewelry, coins, or watches to retain as much money as possible for the family. So whether you want to repurpose and create a new heirloom or liquidate part or all of the estate, let me and my team help you decide the best way to proceed. Call and make an appointment today at J. Brooks Jewelers in Murray and Lehigh or online at jbrooksjewelers.com. Your trusted custom and estate jeweler.
Hi, this is Jay Stevens, host of the Utah Puck Report. Thanks to our sponsor, Larry H. Miller Toyota in Murray, where you're not just a guest, you're part of the family. And when you are part of the family, buying or servicing your vehicle is easy. Right now, get a new 2025 Toyota Tundra for only 2.99% APR for 72 months. Visit them in Murray or online at LarryHMillerToyota.com. 72 monthly payments of $1,519 for every $1,000 financed. On approved credit through Toyota Financial Services, price plus tax, title, license, and a $299 doc fee. Offer ends 6/30/25.
Hey y'all, Eli Winders here. I want to talk to you about something that's more important than ever, taking care of the wildlife around us. Our planet is home to some of the most amazing creatures you could ever imagine, from the biggest bears to the smallest birds and everything in between. But here's the truth. Many of these animals are in danger, habitats are disappearing, and we're losing species at a rate we've never seen before. If we want our kids and their kids to experience the magic of wildlife that we have today, it's on us to step it up and take action. You can make a difference. Learn more about wildlife conservation in your area and how you can help, whether it's supporting local wildlife refuges, reducing pollution, or simply taking a little time to appreciate the wild beauty around you. It all counts. This is Eli Winders. Let's make sure our wildlife is around for generations to come. Y'all take care of the earth and it'll take care of us. This message is courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Broadcasting from the Mountain Home Services Studio, this is 97.5 KZNS FM Colville, 1280 KZNS AM Salt Lake City, and 102.